Chapter 204. Boom! Under that sword light, the scales on the iron scale beast's chest had been torn apart. Dark red blood splashed everywhere, and its whole body was blown backwards. While flying backwards, the beast's cold eyes were filled with confusion and confusion. It could not understand why Yi Chun, who was not its opponent before, had suddenly become so powerful. The power of that sword attack had reminded it of the Wind Wolf, which had the bloodline of ancient beasts. Once, when they were fighting for territory, Yi Chun had broken through its defense with only one claw attack and forced it to run for its life. No matter what, the Iron Scale Beast was still a top-ranked 6 beast. It twisted its body and stopped its retreat immediately. The fist-sized scales on its body started to shake together, looking like countless sharp blades. Its already huge body looked even more powerful than before. The Iron Scale Beast roared 3 times, and its neck suddenly thickened. It opened its mouth and shot out an extremely condensed red beast chi towards Yi Chun. The beast chi was like a spear, with the tip of the spear in a spiral shape. Separate, leaving a Zhen Qi shadow where he was standing, Yi Chun's real body drew a perfect arc in the air, attacking the Iron Scale Beast from the side. That kind of speed and smoothness was way beyond what it had been before. Even the Iron Scale Beast thought that the Zhen Qi shadow was its real body. The second the Zhen Qi shadow was shattered, Yi Chun's attack had also arrived. His star scar sword carried a sharp light as it pierced through the beast's neck. Blood puked out. The Iron Scale Beast felt like its throat was blocked by someone. It wanted to scream, but it could not. Its body was like a sieve, shaking nonstop. Cut. With the increase of his cultivation, the power of his one sword kill had increased drastically. The sword sliced through the wound of the Iron Scale Beast, leaving behind a 3-foot-long wound. That sword attack should have been enough to blow away the Iron Scale Beast, but it was unexpectedly able to withstand the impact and raise up its 3 to 4 meters long right claw, attacking towards Yi Chun. That sharp claw light tore through the air, and the sharp screeching sound could almost shatter people's eardrums. Yi Chun turned his left palm into a fist and performed the 4th movement of the Tyrant Fist Art, attacking towards the right claw of the Iron Scale Beast. With a thunderous sound, the human and the beast backed out at the same time. The difference was that the Iron Scale Beast's body was rolling backwards, while Yi Chun's feet were rubbing against the air, leaving a light white chi wave in the air. Looking at the claw mark on his fist, Yi Chun was shocked. Demonic beasts were best at close combat, and only a small portion of them were good at long-range attacks. The Iron Scale Beast's claw was as hard as a low-rank great weapon, and it contained an extremely hot beast chi. Under one claw attack, even a peak-level late, clasping Yuan Realm Warrior would be killed. If it weren't for the fact that the 4th movement of the Tyrant Fist Art was as powerful as a mid-rank Earth Realm Martial skill, and that he had trained the King Kong J-body and added the sword intent to his fist, that claw attack would have shattered his left arm completely. I mainly train sword arts, so I don't need a lot of fist arts. But the Tyrant Fist Art is obviously not able to keep up with me. I have to find another high-rank fist art to replace it. Or, when I have enough knowledge, I can combine the 4 movements of the Tyrant Fist Art into one. That way, it would have the power of a high-rank Earth Realm martial skill. Thinking about that, Yi Chun's body kept flashing. For Zhen Qi shadows appeared one after another, and his real body appeared on the right side of the Iron Scale Beast within a second, stabbing into its eye. The killing intent of the lone P kill was way too sharp. The Iron Scale Beast was confused by the Zhen Qi shadow for a second. Then, under the effect of the killing intent, it could not move at all. By the time it was able to control its body perfectly, the sword tip had already pierced into its eye socket. Swoosh! Pulling out his star scar sword, Yi Chun backed out quickly. He knew that the Iron Scale Beast, which had lost one eye, would definitely go crazy for a while, so it was not a good idea to get too close to it. He decided to wait for it to use up some of its energy before finishing it off. Just as expected, the pain of having its left eye pierced enraged the Iron Scale Beast. Its remaining eye instantly turned red, glowing with a blood-red light. Immediately after, The red demonic aura on its body was like boiling water, violently fluctuating and soaring into the sky. Shoo! A red light flashed in the air, and the iron scale beast appeared in front of Yi Chun within a second, landing a claw on his head. His head had been shattered, but it was not Yi Chun's real body. Yi Chun's real body was behind the iron scale beast, and he stabbed into its back leg. The iron scale beast was about to go crazy. The wind wolf could beat it because it was powerful enough, while Yi Chun's power was obviously not that much more powerful than it, but he was still able to suppress it completely. The scales on its body suddenly stood up. The iron scale beast shook its body, and countless sharp scales shot out in all directions, making a continuous swooshing sound. After stabbing the beast's hind limb, Yi Chun had already stepped back 100 meters away. Although the scales were still flying at him, they were still too far away. Therefore, they were blocked by Yi Chun's sword light and his protective Jinqi layer. The scales fell down in all directions, unable to hurt him at all. The iron scale beast had not reached the point where it could grow scales all at once. With so many scales shooting out at once, many parts of its body were bare, and its defense had dropped drastically. Following the muscles and bones, Yi Chun found the second fatal weakness of the iron scale beast, which was a light-colored line on its back. Tornado broken clouds. With this discovery, Yi Chun came up with a battle plan. He waved his star scar sword in the air, and the sword chi rose up, bringing up a tornado that was powerful enough to cut through steel. It wrapped around Yi Chun and attacked towards the iron scale beast. After shooting out the scales, the iron scale beast's body froze, and it was sucked into the tornado. Kill. In the upper half of the tornado, Yi Chun held the sword with both of his hands and stabbed into the light-colored line. It went 3 feet deep, and then he pulled it back, cutting open the back of the iron scale beast along the light-colored line. The iron scale beast screamed into the sky. It tried its best to struggle, trying to get rid of Yi Chun. However, the star scar sword had been stabbed deep into its body, so how could it get rid of Yi Chun easily? Its life force and stamina started to leak out like a broken balloon. After a few blinks of an eye, the iron scale beast's body softened and fell from the sky. Finally dead, Yi Chun could sense that the iron scale beast's life force had been completely drained. Its body was not as tough as before, but a bit soft. It was the sign of losing a huge amount of its beast chi and life force. Without the support of its life force and the powerful beast chi, the iron scale beast's defense was not even as powerful as a rank 4 beast. Boom! The dead body of the iron scale beast smashed a hole in the ground. Yi Chun jumped aside, waving his star scar sword. Yi Chun soon took out the beast's inner pellet. After thinking for a while, he also pried out the beast's claws. It was a pure, sharp weapon, and with the beast chi it contained, it would not be any weaker than a low-rank great weapon. In this true spirit continent, there were some great weapons that were made from the bones of beasts. Under special circumstances, they could trigger some unexpected effects. Awoo! Awoo! After collecting all the materials, Yi Chun's ears twitched. From 1,000 miles away, there was a sky-shaking roar. Vaguely, he could even feel that the airflow in the surreal space had increased a lot. It is a rank 7 beast. No, it is a rank 8 beast. Yi Chun's expression changed drastically. A rank 7 beast would be able to kill him within a second, and a rank 8 beast would only need to roar once, and it would probably be able to shatter his soul completely. This small beast wave was indeed not that simple. Not only were there a lot more rank 7 beasts, even rank 8 beasts had started to appear. It looked like it was going to become a mid-sized beast wave. Extending his body, Yi Chun flew towards the gold tripod city. On the wall of the gold tripod city, there were a lot of astral reaching realm warriors standing on top of it. The Black Crow Man frowned. That roar just now even made me feel a little bit scared. I'm afraid it is not a rank 7 beast, but a rank 8 beast. The Fire Spirit said, as long as the rank 9 beasts do not show up, the gold tripod city will be as stable as a mountain. As for the rank 8 beasts appearing in this small beast wave, it is indeed confusing. Perhaps this 100 years is the peak of the beast wave. From the ancient times until now, there have been countless beast waves. From the records, there was a pattern. The beast waves of the same rank would increase or decrease by a certain amount. Once it reached a certain level, it would suddenly increase again, reaching a certain peak. It should be, besides a few astral-reaching realm warriors on the wall, most of them were clasping Yuan realm warriors. Look, the young generation has finally arrived. The beast tide this time isn't that dangerous. The surrounding large sects will definitely send the best of the younger generation to participate in the battle. Only through endless battles can one make breakthroughs faster and improve further. That is the head disciple Meng Chao and the second disciple Tian Hao from the rank 7 martial institution, the Alchemist Martial School. Meng Chao was ranked 40 in the last Hidden Dragon rank. His power is even more powerful than a lot of older clasping Yuan realm warriors. The head disciple of the Green Eagle Palace is here as well. And the 4th Knight and the 6th Knight of the Moon Pavilion 7 Knights are here as well. These two do not belong to any martial institutions. They are purely young warriors trained by the Moon Pavilion. However, they did not make it to the last Hidden Dragon rank. I heard that their power is not below the top 40, and they might be able to make it to the top 30. As time went on, the young warriors started to show up one after another, including Tian Hao, who had just parted ways with Yi Chun. His power was considered average among this group of people. A few of them had even shocked the clasping Yuan realm warriors on the wall. The most outstanding ones would be the 4th Knight and the 6th Knight of the Moon Pavilion. These two were both mid-clasping Yuan realm warriors. They had a cold expression on their faces, and the chi coming from their bodies was extremely sharp. What a disappointment. I thought I would be able to find some interesting young warriors in the Gold Tripod City. The 6th Knight was a teenager. His eyes were slightly squinted like a poisonous snake. Guo chuckled. The news of the beast wave had just spread out not long ago. I am afraid those who are far away would not be able to come. As she spoke, she thought of Yi Chun. This guy was not even 18 years old, and he was extremely talented in battling. Unfortunately, his cultivation was still a bit low, and he did not have enough experience. If he could join the Moon Pavilion, he would only be a backup member of the 7 Knights. Once he was powerful enough, he would be able to compete for the official members. The 7 Knights was a group of 7 young warriors. Every one of them was a top warrior among the young generation. Right now, 3 of them were from other martial institutions, and the other 4 were trained by the Moon Pavilion itself. The 4th Knight and the 6th Knight were indeed the young warriors trained by the Moon Pavilion. They were quite valued by the leader of the pavilion. This time, when the beast wave broke out, they had been sent over immediately. The tall and cold-looking 4th Knight said lightly, "Our battle will be in the next Hidden Dragon rank. This is just an appetizer. No need to care too much." Chapter 205. Guolan Yue said, "All right, let's go into the city first." She had come out of the city to greet the two when she saw them coming. After all, in the Moon Pavilion, Chi's status was even higher than the manager, which meant that he did not care about anything. Shoo! 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 The 3 of them extended their bodies and flew onto the city wall directly. Tian Hao, you said that the person who saved your life was almost as powerful as me. Are you kidding me? What was his rank in the last Hidden Dragon rank? Meng Chao looked at Tian Hao with a sneer. In the Alchemist Martial School, he was always the one with the most power. Therefore, he must be jealous of him and wanted to find someone to beat him up. Tian Hao said, "If I'm not wrong, he will definitely come to the Gold Tripod City as well. By then, we will know for sure." Meng Chao said in disdain, "If it were 2 years ago, I might not be his opponent. But after 2 years, my power has not only increased by a little, but more than 2 times. The top martial art in our martial school, the high-rank Earth Realm martial art, the Red Burning Great Art, has also been trained to the 9th level by me. What does he have to compete with me? As for the sword intent you mentioned, it is not even worth mentioning. In the last Hidden Dragon rank competitions, I had beaten a sword artist who had the sword intent. Perhaps for most of the people, the sword intent was very rare and powerful. But for the young warriors who were ranked in the Hidden Dragon rank, there were way too many people who had the sword intent. Not to mention the older generation, there were already more than 10 young warriors who had the sword intent. There might even be some of them who did not participate in the competitions because they were not powerful enough. Therefore, for Meng Chao, what he cared about was power. He did not care about the sword intent or the blade intent or anything else. Tian Hao said, "You will know when you see him." Actually, he was not sure if Yi Chun could win against Meng Chao. As the head disciple of the alchemist martial school, Meng Chao had trained all the top martial arts in the martial school, such as the high-rank Earth Realm martial art, Red Great Art, which only a few core elders were qualified to train. Even he was not qualified. Besides that, Meng Chao's martial art was the Red Great Palm Art, which came with the Red Great Palm Art. Both of them complemented each other, and their combined power was far more powerful than two high-rank Earth Realm martial arts. As for mentioning Yi Chen's name, it was a slip of the tongue. Therefore, he had no choice but to keep it up. After all, Yi Chun was indeed powerful. A normal rank 6 beast could not even take one sword attack from him. The Supreme Elder of the Alchemist faction said, "All right, stop talking. Tian Hao, it's not that I want to criticize you, but your first senior brother's strength is obvious to all. Not everyone could surpass him." Yes. Since the Grand Elder had spoken, Tian Hao didn't dare talk back. Dozens of famous young warriors landed on top of the city wall. They looked at each other with a strong fighting intent. The sixth knight glanced at Meng Chao and said with an evil smile, "Among all of us, he is the only one with some power. I wonder if he can exchange a few attacks with me." Guolan smiled helplessly. The 7 knights in the Moon Pavilion all had their own characteristics. The sixth knight's specialty was his coldness and arrogance. However, he was indeed powerful. Even Guolan couldn't handle 3 attacks from him, and that was when he had not used all of his power. The fourth knight said calmly, "The powerful one is here." Yeah. The sixth knight and Guolan followed his gaze and looked out of the city. In the wilderness, a figure with a pair of black wings was flying towards them at an extreme speed. That pair of wings was about 4 to 5 meters long, and it looked so real. The sharp feathers were clearly visible. Wherever it went, the air around it was cut open. Its speed was even faster than the speed of sound, and it was not just a little bit. The fire spirit focused his eyes and laughed. "Black Crow, your disciple is here." The Black Crow man laughed. "This brat, he is just hanging around. I thought he was training hard in the sky, flying demon martial school." "Don't be so dissatisfied. Your disciple has trained the same martial art as you, the Black Crow Great Art. You should have reached the 10th realm by now, right? He was only at the 10th realm 3 months ago. He, the Black Crow Great Art, is a high-rank Earth realm martial art. It has 13 realms in total. Training to the 10th realm would almost be able to reach the top 20 of this year's Hidden Dragon rank." While the two were talking, the battling intent of the young generation had been ignited. Meng Chao stared at the winged teenager and said word by word, "The 25th of the Hidden Dragon rank, Wu Yangyu. This time, I will definitely fight you to see who is better." In the last Hidden Dragon rank competitions, he had lost to 3 people. One of them was indeed the disciple of the Black Crow man, Wu Yangyu, who was ranked 25th in the Hidden Dragon rank. He was a famous warrior in the whole South Ridra region. The great master of the Alchemist Martial School said, "I am afraid his Black Crow Great Art has been trained to the 10th realm. If you can also train your Red Burning Great Art to the 10th realm, you'll have a great chance to beat him." Meng Chao said, "My Red Burning Great Art and Red Burning Great Palm Art are a set of martial arts. The power they can bring out is extremely powerful. With my current power, I might be able to beat him." The elder shook his head. It would be difficult, very difficult. The Black Crow Great Art was different from the other high-rank Earth Realm martial arts. Not only was it extremely fast, but the attacking power of that pair of wings was also very high. It was way harder than the Great Steel, only slightly weaker than a low-rank Great Weapon. Among the same rank martial arts, it was almost one of the top ones. On the other side, Wu Yangyu, I am not his opponent. Out of Guolan expectation, the 6th knight admitted that he was not Wu Yangyu's opponent. Guolan said, "Although our Moon Pavilion is not a martial institution, we are way more powerful than the normal rank 7 martial institutions. In some aspects, we're even more powerful than the rank 6 martial institutions. As long as you guys work hard enough, the Moon Pavilion will definitely support you with all of our power. We will spread the name of Wu Yanyu across the whole South Ritter region, and even the whole true spirit continent. The fourth knight did not say anything. She was trying to figure out Wu Yanyu's power from his chi. Eventually, she came to the conclusion that Wu Yanyu's power should be able to compete with the third knight. As for herself, she might not lose to him either. Half a year ago, she had battled with the third knight, and she had only lost to him by one attack. Shoo! The pitch-black wings retracted, and Wu Yangyu appeared right next to the Black Crow Man. He said with respect, "Teacher." The Black Crow Man nodded. "You came at the right time. After this beast wave battle, I hope you can learn more." "I will. This year's Hidden Dragon rank competition, my goal is to be in the top 10. Good. Ambitious. But ambition alone is not enough. There are countless martial geniuses in the whole South Ritter region, and you are not the only one who has improved. Everyone is working hard to train. Also, let me introduce you. This is the fire spirit that I have always told you about. He is my opponent. Greetings, fire spirit." After greeting, Wu Yangyu looked around. Other than pausing slightly on the fourth night, he completely ignored everyone else. Wu Yangyu is here as well. He is the third disciple of the Sky Flying Devil Martial School. His talent is only below the head disciple, the Demon Eye, and the second disciple, Murong Qingqing. What I'm curious about is that Murong Qingqing's rank is even lower than Wu Yanyu's. Why is she the second disciple of the Sky Flying Devil Martial School? Normally, the second disciple should be Wu Yangyu. I do not know about that either. Maybe there is something else. Do not underestimate Murong Qingqing. I have watched the last Hidden Dragon rank competition, and Murong Qingqing did not seem to use all of her power. Plus, the martial art that she has trained is even more powerful than the Black Crow Great Art. It is one of the top 2 martial arts of the Sky Flying Devil Martial School, the Sky Demon Great Art. Wu Yangyu's arrival had raised the discussion on the city wall. Another young warrior has come. Who is that? His cultivation is quite good at the mid-clasping Yuan realm. Some of the people had sharp eyes. They immediately saw a very young figure flying towards them from 8 miles away. Although his speed was not as fast as Wu Yangyu, his cultivation was not that far off. I have never seen him before. I think he is a new warrior who has just appeared out of nowhere. Yeah, his cultivation is quite good. I wonder about his battling power. Among the young generation, battling power is the most important thing. Cultivation is the last thing. Hearing the people talking, Tianhao could not help but look over. He could not help but say, "He is Yi Chun, brother Yi." Meng Chao said, "No wonder you are so impressed with him. He is a mid-clasping Yuan realm warrior. But cultivation is nothing." Without arguing with Meng Chao, Tianhao waved at Yi Chun, "Brother Yi, over here." Flying in the air, Yi Chun heard Tianhao's voice. He hesitated a little bit, but still shot towards that direction. His body dragged out an extremely thin chi wave in the air. The second Yi Chun got close to the city wall, Meng Chao took a step forward and said lightly, "Let me test him. I want to see how weak the person you admire is." Boom! A red fire wave shot out of Meng Chao's body, attacking towards Yi Chun. Wherever the fire wave went, the air was evaporated, turning into a vacuum. Break! Yi Chun did not change his expression. His palm was like a blade, cutting on the fire wave. Swoosh! The fire wave was cut open, and Yi Chun's body had already landed next to Tianhao. Tianhao said to Meng Chao with a bit of anger, "Meng Chao, what is the meaning of this?" Meng Chao did not care about Tianhao's attitude. He studied Yi Chun and said, "Not bad. You managed to break through one of my random attacks. You do have some skills." Yi Chun said lightly, "I see. No wonder you are so weak." "You." Meng Chao's eyes darkened. How could he not understand what Tianhao meant? He was saying that his random attack was very weak. "Brother Yi, let's talk over here." Tianhao did not want Meng Chao and Yi Chun to have a conflict because of him. He had already blamed himself for spilling the beans earlier. "All right." Yi Chun walked past Meng Chao and stood next to Tianhao. I hope he could be just as powerful on the battlefield. Meng Chao was not the kind of person who would try to beat his opponent out of impulse. For him, the main purpose of this trip was to fight against the beasts. During the battle, everyone's power would be revealed. After all, there would not be millions of beasts, but millions of them. Without a certain power, it would be very hard for them to win. Who was weaker and who was more powerful would be revealed. How is this possible? That little brat has reached the mid-clasping Yuan realm. As someone who had been with Yi Chun for half a month, Guolan Yue was very shocked. A couple of hours ago, he was still at the peak-level early-clasping Yuan realm, but after a couple of hours, he had reached the mid-clasping Yuan realm. Judging solely on his training speed, it was definitely shocking. He had probably reached his limit during the tough battle against the Iron Scale beasts. All right, the 4th and 6th Knights of the Moon Pavilion are here. With them here, this little brat would definitely feel a lot of pressure. He might even join the Moon Pavilion and try his best to become an official member of the 7 Knights to prove his power. A smile appeared on the corner of Guo Lanyue's mouth. She was in a good mood. Chapter 206. Everyone thought that the beasts would arrive one after another. However, after waiting for 3 days, besides seeing 1 or 2 groups of beasts, nothing had happened. It seems like the beasts have learned to be smart. They know that coming in batches would not help, and would only give us time to breathe. Without any surprises, the beasts are preparing for a big battle. They will gather all the beasts to attack the Gold Tripod City. Although this small beast wave is not simple, there are dozens of astral-reaching realm warriors gathered in the Gold Tripod City, thousands of clasping Yuan realm warriors, and countless condensing reality realm warriors. Even if there were millions of beasts, they would not be able to take down the Gold Tripod City. You are right. Before, a lot of rank 7 beasts had already been killed. There should not be more than 5 rank 7 beasts left. Adding a rank 8 beast, the Gold Tripod City would still have the upper hand. Later on, the Gold Tripod City would become the training ground for the young generation. I can't wait. Not only the young generation, but we will also have the chance to reach the next level. Yeah, although we will not be able to have the same achievement as the young generation, there is still hope for us to reach the next level. The beast's strange behavior did not make the warriors in the Gold Tripod City feel depressed. Instead, they were all excited, looking forward to the big battle. On the 7th day, a small amount of warriors went up to the top of the wall to check out the situation. There were more than 2 million warriors in the Gold Tripod City, and even a small part of them would be around 300,000 to 400,000. The good thing was that the Gold Tripod City's wall was more than 100 miles long, and the 4 sections of the wall added up to more than 400 miles. If they stood side by side, it would be able to fit 200,000 warriors. Adding the width of the wall, it would not be crowded at all. On the west side of the wall, Yi Chun and Tian Hao stood side by side. It is already the 7th day, and I have not even seen a shadow of the beasts. Compared to Yi Chun, Tian Hao was more eager to increase his power, since the next Hidden Dragon rank competition would start in 8 or 9 months. Yi Chun said, "It will take a while for the beasts to gather. No rush." Tian Hao said, "The small beast wave is hard to come by in 30 years. Every time it happens, there would be a group of people who would be able to increase their power. I hope it will be my turn this time. If you're too impatient, it'll be counterproductive. It's most important to correct your mentality." Yi Chun had already increased his cultivation, and it would be very hard for him to improve again. But that was not his goal. He had only combined the 9th movement of the Lone Peak of 13 swords, and every movement after that would be extremely difficult. This battle with the beast would be a great opportunity. As for Tian Hao's feelings, Yi Chun could understand. But he knew very well that on the path of martial arts, impatience was a big taboo, and he needed to have the right mentality. Tian Hao exclaimed in surprise. "Sect Master said this to me before." It's exactly the same. Yi Chun didn't say anything. There were many things that needed to be comprehended by oneself. Only when one had comprehended it would it be considered one's own. Others could only guide you from the side. Roar, 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 roar. Suddenly, a series of beast roars came from the silent wilderness. The roars were continuous, covering the sky, and covering the earth. Even the air was boiling, creating ripples. As far as the eye could see, dozens of miles away, black beasts were approaching. It was like the water in a pond had been dyed black by ink, and the gold tripod city was the only clean place. The beasts are here. Along with the screams of many warriors, the warriors nearby were all woken up. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100. Soon, all the warriors rushed out of the streets, rushing to the top of the city wall. That kind of oppressive feeling made the normal residents of the gold tripod city nervous. Their hearts were beating fast. Actually, without the warning from the warriors on the city wall, everyone would have noticed the arrival of the beast soon. It was because the sunny sky had suddenly darkened, and the beast chi had spread out everywhere, forming huge dark clouds. The clouds were covered with lightning, and there was a vague sound of thunder. Running up to the city wall to take a look, a lot of people gasped. So many beasts. There must be at least 10 million. More than that. I think there must be 20 million of them. I can't even see the end of them. If there were no astral-reaching realm warriors, to be honest, I would be a bit scared. Who wouldn't be scared? 20 million beasts. It would be more than enough to destroy the gold tripod city. Among the endless demonic beasts, the most eye-catching ones were, without a doubt, the 6 huge demonic beasts. 5 of them were the size of small hills, and the one on the far left was the horned dragon snake that Yi Chan was familiar with. This horned dragon snake was covered in wounds, and one of the horns on its head was broken. It seemed like it had been through a huge battle and was badly wounded. Besides the horned dragon snake, there were 3 wolves, a mountain-like 6-eyed spider, a 3-tailed one-horned cow, and a silver lightning giant eagle that was covered in lightning. All of them were rank 7 demonic beasts, and the demonic chi on their bodies shot up into the sky, merging with the dark cloud-like demonic chi. In the middle of the 5 7th-level demonic beasts was a ferocious ape. This ape was over 100 meters tall, and in terms of size, it couldn't even compare to the smallest 6-eyed spider. However, its aura completely surpassed all the other demonic beasts, and its ferocious aura was like a tsunami. It was a rank 8 beast, the King Kong demon ape. Let's go first. We don't want to get too close and damage the gold tripod city. The astral-reaching realm warriors had made their moves. Once they made their moves, they attacked right at the 5 rank 7 beasts and that rank 8 beast, the King Kong demon ape. In their eyes, only rank 7 beasts and rank 8 beasts were worth their time. Everything below rank 7 was just like ants, and it would be best to leave it to the young ones. Roar! Attacking the King Kong demon ape were 3 mid-astral reaching realm warriors and 1 peak-level mid-astral reaching realm warrior. With the combined power of the 4 of them, even if the King Kong demon ape was extremely aggressive, it would not be able to do anything. As for the remaining 10 astral-reaching realm warriors, they had also teamed up, each finding a rank 7 beast and starting to fight with it. A fire in the city would bring disaster to the fish in the moat. Usually, when a rank 7 beast and an astral-reaching realm warrior clashed, thousands of beasts would be killed by the shockwave, without leaving any bones behind. The King Kong demon ape was extremely intelligent. It knew that if it continued like this, even the 20 million beasts would not be able to handle it. It would have to fight outside of the beast group. Boom! The ground cracked open as the King Kong demon ape jumped a couple of miles away. Chase! The 4 astral-reaching realm warriors chased closely. Seeing the King Kong demon ape's actions, the horned dragon python and the other level 7 demonic beasts knew what was going on. They summoned their demonic chi and rushed in the direction the King Kong demon ape had left. You don't want to hurt the beasts, but we don't want to hurt the gold tripod city either. That's exactly what I want. Haha, just now we exchanged a few moves, and at least tens of thousands of demonic beasts died. No wonder the adamantine demon ape wanted to leave and find an open space to fight again. If it were a one-on-one battle, none of the astral-reaching realm warriors would have the confidence to win against a rank 7 beast. But if the 2 of them joined hands, they would have a much higher chance of winning. At least, they would be able to guarantee that they would not die. Since that was the case, there was nothing to worry about. Once the rank 7 beasts, rank 8 beasts, and astral-reaching realm warriors had left, it would be the final battle between the gold tripod city warriors and the beasts. When the beasts were less than 3 miles away from the gold tripod city, a warrior rushed down the city wall and shouted, "Kill! Kill! Kill! Kill!" Countless warriors rushed down, their aura increasing drastically. The first one to attack was none other than Wu Liangyu, who was extremely fast. Both of his hands shook, and his body was like lightning. His speed was even faster than the speed of sound. The warriors with lower cultivation could not even see his shadow. They could only see the black chi waves forming into a line. Death cut. His body turned from extreme movement to extreme stillness. Wu Liangyu flapped his wings in front of him. 2 black, cutting waves intersected with each other, turning into a 10 meters huge cross-cutting wave. It was only one attack, but 60 to 70 beasts had been torn into pieces. The aftermath of the attack left a huge cross on the ground, which was extremely shocking. After that, Yi Chun and the rest of the warriors also started to attack. Taking out his Star Scar sword, Yi Chun did not try to show off on purpose. He performed his Sky Cloud Sword Art's Tornado Broken Clouds, which had the widest attack range, towards the beast wave. The sword chi twisted the chi flow, forming a light blue tornado. The tornado carried a horrifying aura as it roared and attacked the beast wave within a second. Shoo! 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 All the demonic beasts below level 5 were sucked into the tornado and sliced into pieces. The level 5 demonic beasts couldn't help but get closer to the tornado under the powerful rotating force. They revolved around the tornado and were pierced by the sword chi that shot out. Awu, a 2-headed wolf king, rushed out of the tornado's range, jumping towards Yi Chun. Cut! Yi Chun did not even look at it as he raised his Star Scar sword up high. A huge amount of blood spilled out. The 2 heads of the 2-headed wolf king had been cut off. Its body fell down from the sky, sliding on the ground. Red cut godly palm. Not far away, Meng Chao's whole body was covered in fire. He threw out a palm attack, and that burning fire Zhen Qi condensed into a 10 meters huge palm. There was a red flame burning on the surface of that palm. The horrifying temperature had evaporated a huge part of the air as it slammed down towards the beast wave. Boom! The ground shook, and a huge palm print appeared on the ground. All the beasts within its range had been crushed into ashes, merging into the ground. Huh. Meng Chao took a look at Yi Chun. Yi Chun did not pay attention to Meng Chao. He had his own goal, which was to completely merge the Lone Peak Kill. By then, judging solely on attacking power, the Lone Peak Kill would be way more powerful than the one-sword attack. 100 Snake Attack. The 6th Knight's martial skill was very strange. He stretched out both of his arms, and Zhen Qi poured out from his palms, turning into huge snakes that were as thick as a human's thighs. Those Zhen Qi snakes made a hissing sound as they slithered on the ground. Their speed was unbelievably fast, piercing through all the beasts that jumped on them. Compared to the 6th Knight, the 4th Knight, who was a female, looked more masculine and violent. She lifted up her right arm, bent her upper body, and threw out a punch onto the ground. Boom! With the 4th Knight as the starting point, 3 mud mounds shot out, exploding in the beast wave. The number of beasts killed was even more than the 6th Knight. However, she was not that lucky. 3 rank 6 flying beasts were attracted by her attack. They screamed and dove towards her at the same time. Break! The 4th Knight's eyes were like lightning. Her right arm disappeared all of a sudden. Then, hundreds of fist shadows appeared in the air. The protective beast chi of the rank 6 beasts was as fragile as a piece of paper under the fist shadows. Even their owners were blown into pieces. So powerful. It was the first time for Guolan Yue to see the 4th Knight attack, so she could not help but feel shocked. Chapter 207. Turning her head to look for Yi Chun, Guolan Yue thought to herself, "Did you see that? This was the power of the 7 Knights. Every one of them was a top warrior among the young generation. In the South River region, even the rank 6 martial institutions would not be able to compete with the Moon Pavilion in this aspect. The 7 Knights would be famous one day. Hey, Attendant Gua, don't get distracted." The sixth knight had taken care of a rank 6 beast that was attacking Guolanyue, reminding her, who was still looking for Yichun. Guolanyue smiled apologetically. There were too many people and beasts, and Yichun did not seem to like being high profile. She could not find him no matter how hard she tried. Death Tornado. Among the young generation, the one with the highest profile was without a doubt Wu Liangyu, who was ranked 25 in the last Hidden Dragon rank. He flapped his wings, and the pitch-black light shone brightly. Countless arc-shaped cutting waves stacked on top of each other, forming into a tornado like attack wave, attacking the beast waves again and again. This is way too exaggerated. This attack has killed at least 100 beasts, including 3 rank 6 beasts. Back in the day, the Black Crow Man had become famous in the South Rudra region with his Black Crow great art. Right now, Wu Yangyu is way more powerful than the Black Crow Man when he was young. Normal peak level late, clasping Yuan realm warriors might not even be able to compete with him. The 10th realm of the Black Crow great art. How despairing. Looking at the crisscrossing cracks on the ground, a lot of the warriors around could not help but click their tongues. So powerful. He is indeed the #1 warrior among the young generation in the Gold Tripod City. In this year's Hidden Dragon rank competitions, he might be able to make it into the top 20 or even the top 15, shocking the whole South River region. Murong Qingcheng, in the last Hidden Dragon rank competition, I know that you did not use all of your power and only used the 6th realm of the Sky Demon Great Art to fight. You had already reached the 7th realm, and right now, you should be at around the 8th realm. Although the Sky Demon Great Art is a top-rank Earth realm martial art, the difference should not be that big. With my 10th realm of the Black Crow Great Art, I will definitely be able to beat you and make you my woman. As for this year's Hidden Dragon rank competition, I will definitely be able to get into the top 10. With the secret martial art that I have prepared for so long, who would be able to beat me after the top 10? Wu Yangyu was in high spirits. The Black Crow Man had 3 disciples, and the other 2 had only trained their Black Crow Great Art to the 7th and 8th realm. Only he had trained it to the 10th realm. In just 2 years, he had trained a high-rank Earth realm martial art to the 10th realm. This speed was definitely super fast. Thinking about what happened in the Hidden Dragon rank competition, Wu Yangyu could not help but yell out loud. Boom! A circle of black shockwave spread out from Wu Liangyu's body, blowing away all the demonic beasts nearby, their bodies disintegrating in the air. Lone Peak Kill. Giving up on the wide-range attacking sword art, Yichun started to focus on preparing for the merging of the Lone Peak 13 swords. His body kept moving, and with every step he took, the Star Scar sword in his hand would throw out a sword attack. With each sword attack, another demonic beast would be killed. Even rank 6 beasts were no exception. Faster, faster. I need to be faster. Directly starting from the sword movement, the merging speed would be very slow. Yichun had to find another way, which was to perform the Lone Peak Kill at an absolute speed, and then learn that bit of extreme silence from that extreme speed. The Lone Peak Kill needed that bit of extreme silence, and only by learning the extreme silence would he be able to merge the Lone Peak Kill faster. Shoo! 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 In front of everyone's confusion, Yichun pushed his separating shadow, flying art, to its limit. The sword light kept flashing like a flying horse in the sky. Every time he threw out a sword attack, the angle was completely different, but it was still possible to see the similarities between each sword attack. One after another, the demonic beasts fell down. All of their wounds were fatal. This guy's sword art is so sharp, killing a demonic beast with one sword attack. Yeah, you were right. If he was aiming at me, I would not be able to dodge that sword attack. That sword attack was not that fast, but it still made my heart skip a beat. It is not that fast, but why do I feel that it is so fast? So fast that my eyes could not even see it. Yeah, it is indeed fast. Not fast. The demonic beasts in the front would not be that high in rank. Occasionally, the rank 6 beasts would be killed by the powerful warriors one by one. A lot of warriors did not feel that much pressure, so they focused on the young generation. There were also a lot of people who were paying attention to Yichun, but soon they had different opinions. The reason was whether Yichun's sword was fast or not. Some said it was super fast, while some said it was not as fast as the others. Wait, I feel that his sword is getting faster. Me too. Weird. Why do I feel like it is getting slower? Soon, the two sides had different opinions again. Yichen did not pay attention to the discussions around him. He was still doing what he wanted to do. Shoo! A rank 6 beast did not manage to react in time. A bloody hole appeared on its neck, and blood poured out. Indeed, it is starting to work. That sword attack of Yichen's was very casual, but its speed and power were surprisingly powerful. The rank 6 beast did not even have the time to react. However, I have reached a bottleneck in my comprehension of the extreme stillness. Now, it is time to think in reverse and comprehend faster from the extreme stillness. Thoughts flashed through his mind from time to time, but Yi Chun had never felt this peaceful before. It was like he was just a passerby, watching himself perform his lone peak kill and listening to the voice in his head. His heart was calm and peaceful. Shoo! In most people's eyes, the sword in Yi Chen's hand had disappeared, and the eyes of the beast in front of him had lost the color of life. The beast next to it had become very slow. The only thing that was not slow was Yi Chen's sword. His sword had already disappeared. If it were not for the slight pattern that appeared in the air when he threw out his sword, they would not even know if Yi Chun had thrown out his sword or not. But the most annoying thing was that a lot of people could see the trajectory of that sword, and the beast's speed seemed to be even faster. It seemed like those beasts had rushed to the tip of the sword themselves. So weird. Did you notice? There were a lot of clasping Yuan realm warriors in the Gold Tripod City. Among them, there were many peak-level late clasping Yuan realm warriors. Their power was even more powerful than most of the young warriors in the Hidden Dragon rank. Some of them could even kill the Tyrant rank 6 beasts like the Wind Wolf and the Black Bear. Dozens of meters away, there were 2 warriors like that who had noticed Yi Chun. The one on the left had casually killed a rank 6 beast, so he frowned slightly. His sword art is sometimes fast and sometimes slow. He must be learning something. Old buddy, you are wrong this time. His sword art has always maintained the same speed. Only one sword attack would be unexpectedly fast. Let me see. After being mentioned by his partner, the one on the right was interested. Soon, he forced a smile and said, "Indeed, I have been fooled by the poetic perspective of his sword art. His sword will not change under most of the circumstances. I wonder what kind of poetic perspective it is. It makes people feel that it is sometimes fast and sometimes slow. It should be the poetic perspective of the mountains and rivers. The poetic perspective of the mountains and rivers." That person looked at him with surprise. The two of them had almost the same cultivation, both at the peak level late clasping Yuan realm. However, Yi Chun was able to kill the Wind Wolf, which had the bloodline of an ancient beast. He was way more powerful than him. With his eyes, he could indeed tell something. Therefore, he wanted to hear an explanation. The man shook his head. The mountains and rivers can be far and close. The sword art is sometimes fast and sometimes slow. Putting it all together, it is actually the mystery of space. When you stand close, the sword will of course arrive first. When you stand far away, the sword will arrive one step later. He uses the poetic perspective of the mountains and rivers to push his sword art. It will make people feel like the space is messed up and they will lose their ability to judge. This is very scary. If a warrior's space sense is messed up for a short period of time, what do you think will happen? The one on the right let out a breath. Then, of course, they will die. Indeed. Not to mention anything else, if this guy continues to grow, his sword art will reach an extremely horrifying level. It will be way beyond our imagination. Is it really that mysterious? You can't see it with just one look. I am ashamed. I was lucky enough to talk to a sword artist who had mastered the completed sword intent. He said that holding a sword in one's hand will extend a certain distance compared to a barehanded person. This distance is space. Therefore, sword artists especially need to train their space sense. If they don't make progress in the space sense, their sword intent will be like a beast locked in a cage. They will be trapped inside for the rest of their lives. A sword artist who has mastered the completed sword intent. TSK. This group of people are so abnormal and rare. Although there are 3,000 great Daos, each of them has a different direction of development. The sword art is undoubtedly the main killing art. One sword can kill one person, and 10 sword can kill 10 people. It is truly a killing weapon. A sword artist who has mastered the sword intent is a real sword artist. Only they can push their sword art to a higher level, and they're qualified to learn the profound meaning of the sword art. Yichen did not hear what the two were talking about. If he did, he would be very surprised. He had only realized the importance of the space sense after he had mastered the lone peak 13 swords. He did not expect that there would already be a sword artist who knew about it, and it was even more detailed than him. Actually, Yichen did not know how powerful he was. Normally, a real sword artist would only realize the importance of the space sense after they had mastered the completed sword intent or even the completed sword intent. Right now, his sword intent was only at 40%, and he had already mastered the space sense. If that sword artist who had mastered the completed sword intent knew about it, he would be even more surprised. As for people who did not use swords, they would not know much about it. There's a slow poetic perspective in fast, and a fast poetic perspective in slow. Right now, I have almost achieved it. All I need is to make a breakthrough and combine the two. Without realizing it, Yi Chun had combined the 10th movement of the lone peak 13 swords. The power of his lone peak kill had increased to another level, and he had a deeper understanding of the fast poetic perspective, which was the poetic perspective of mountains and rivers. Unfortunately, the space did not change. What changed was people. If he ran into a powerful warrior, it would be hard to confuse him. If he ran into a sword artist with the same sword intent, the effect would not be as good. Faster, faster, faster. Slow, slower, slower. Yi Chun, who had lost all his thoughts, kept performing the same sword attack, hoping that he could find something from it and find the opportunity to make a breakthrough. The beasts that were attacking Yi Chun were very frustrated. If he had used absolute power to kill them, they would not have been happy. But right now, he did not give them any chance at all. With a random sword attack, they all died without knowing why. In their dim pupils, they could see the figures of their companions. Just like them, they all fell down one by one. All of their wounds were fatal. The battle had been going on from noon to night. Millions of beasts had died, and a lot of warriors had died as well. The ground was covered with minced meat and broken weapons. The blood had formed a river and dyed the ground outside of the gold tripod city red. It was a horrifying scene. Yi Chun, who did not know fatigue, was so light. Wherever his sword light reached, there would be death. It was easy to see that his sword art had improved again. It gave people a feeling of calmness. Right then, Guolanhua finally found Yi Chun. Chapter 208. His ace attacks have become even more powerful. How come they're so fast? With only one glance, Guolanhua had been attracted by Yi Chun's sword art. That back and forth, that seemingly casual sword attack seemed to be able to swallow all the eyes and attack the beast from an unbelievable angle. Manager Gua, do you know him? The sixth knight licked his lips, looking at Yi Chun with interest. Guolanhua nodded. We have only known each other for half a month. Speaking of which, I was thinking of inviting him to join the Moon Pavilion. Unfortunately, I was rejected. Rejected to join the Moon Pavilion? What? Are you looking down on the Moon Pavilion and the Seven Knights? The sixth knight had a cold temperament, but he was very proud of the Seven Knights' name. Hearing her, his eyes squeezed into a line. A cold light shot out from the gap. His body flashed, turning into a blurry shadow as he jumped towards Yi Chun. Don't be impulsive. Guolanhua was a bit helpless. Besides the cold temperament, the sixth knight was fine, but he was way too impulsive. The fourth knight said lightly, let him go. I also want to see how powerful that person's sword art is. That's the only way. Guolanhua forced a smile, but she was also a little bit excited. One was the sixth knight, who was ranked 6th in the Seven Knights, and the other was a young warrior that she thought highly of. The battle between the two would definitely be interesting. Yi Chun, bring out all of your power. The sixth knight's speed was very fast and tricky. He was like a huge snake with explosive power, swimming in between the gaps of the beast wave. The second he went through, a row of beast bodies shot out blood pillars. These blood pillars intersected with each other, creating a bloody path for the sixth knight. Brat, you are very arrogant. Do you know that? From afar, the sixth knight's cold voice came into Yi Chen's ears. Yi Chen turned his head. What do you mean? The star scar sword in his hand did not stop because he was distracted. Instead, it became sharper and more unpredictable. Take one of my attacks first. 100 snake attack. Stretching out both of his arms, huge Zhenqi snakes that were as thick as a human's thighs came out of the sixth knight's palms, shooting towards Yi Chen at an extremely fast speed. Wherever the huge snakes went, the air was like water, creating waves of ripples. It was because the snakes were moving so fast that the air had been squeezed together. Ding, 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 ding. After learning the poetic perspective, the Zhenqi snake speed was not that fast for Yi Chen. He waved his star scar sword, blocking out all of the snake's attacks. You have 2 moves, 100 snake explosion. The sixth knight sneered. His hands seemed to be grabbing something, and he clasped them together fiercely. Immediately, the Zhenqi serpents that had been severed by Yi Chen shot out with Yi Chen as the center. After that, they exploded one after another. No fire could be seen, only the shattered air and the potholes on the ground showed how powerful the explosion was. If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. Yi Chen's figure appeared from behind sixth knight. What? The sixth knight was shocked. He had clearly seen Yi Chen being surrounded by the Zhenqi serpent just now. When did he escape? Why didn't he feel anything at all? Clenching his teeth, the sixth knight, at that critical moment, performed his ultimate counterattack, 100 Snake Halo. Countless snake-shaped Zhenqi drilled out from the surface of his body, densely packed, and instantly combined into a powerful halo, spreading out in all directions. Yi Chen did not back out even one step. He held his sword with both of his hands and sliced out. A cloth-tearing sound was heard. That incoming halo was easily sliced open by that unbreakable sword light, while Yi Chen was naturally unharmed. The sixth knight, who had turned around, opened his eyes wide. There was an unconcealable shock in his cold pupils. His 100-snake halo had been sliced open just like that. How could he not be shocked? All right, I will use you to test out the power of my lone peak kill. Yi Chen could tell that the sixth knight was very powerful and could compete with the older late clasping Yuan realm warriors. However, right now, he was even more powerful than before and did not care about opponents at this level anymore. It would be perfect for him to test out his martial arts. The Star Scar sword shook, and Yi Chen threw out a simple sword attack towards the sixth knight. So fast. That was the sixth knight's first impression. In his eyes, there was nothing, only that slight air pattern vibrating. His subconscious was telling him that the attack was coming, and he had to try his best to block it out. However, his body did not listen to him, and he could only watch that sword attack coming towards him. Yi Chen, please show some mercy. Seeing that, Guo Lanwei hurried to stop him. Shoo! A strand of black hair hanging on his shoulder was cut off. Yi Chen's sword had somehow appeared on the sixth knight's neck, maintaining a 0 distance. Right then, the sixth knight had finally returned to normal. He did not dare to move an inch, since the Star Scar sword was extremely sharp. If he moved even a little bit, that sharp sword chi would definitely wound him. Moving the Star Scar sword away, Yi Chen looked at Guo Lanwei. What happened? Guo Lanwei looked embarrassed. It was a misunderstanding. It was all a misunderstanding. Thank you for holding back. I hope there will be fewer misunderstandings. I will not hold back every time I attack. If it were not for Guo Lanwei stopping him, that sword attack would have definitely hit the sixth knight. Of course, he would not kill the sixth knight, since it was a big battle with the beasts, and it would not be appropriate. There were more and more beasts, and their ranks were getting higher as well. Yi Chen jumped into the beast wave again, performing his lone peak kill again and again. Guo Lanwei took back her sight and said to the sixth knight, "You were too impulsive." Luckily, Yi Chen is not a bloodthirsty person. Otherwise, how would I explain to the management of the Moon Pavilion? Actually, she was the most shocked one. She had not expected that Yi Chen's sword arts would reach this level in such a short time. Even the sixth knight was not his opponent. No, he was not even qualified to be his opponent. If she could not recruit this scary young man into the Moon Pavilion, it would definitely be her biggest regret. The sixth knight let out a heavy breath. Such a horrifying sword art. Facing his sword art, I'm like a kid, a joke. The fourth knight said seriously, "That is a killing sword. If you could not block that sword attack, you would have been killed. You are very lucky." Indeed, the sixth knight was still scared. "All right, now is not the time to chat. Let's kill as many beasts as we can. Do not let them get into the gold tripod city." Guilanya said. The beast wave was different from the normal beasts. In the beginning, it was just the low-ranked beasts, which could be called cannon fodder. But in the middle and late stages, the beast ranks would be getting higher and higher. It was almost impossible to see any beasts below rank 3. Countless beasts would form into a beast wave, attacking the warriors of the gold tripod city again and again. Kill. Although this beast wave is dangerous, it is also a chance to make some money. If we gather all the materials from the beasts below rank 3, it would be an unimaginable fortune. The beasts above rank 3 would have their pellets, which would be even more valuable. By then, all the materials and pellets would be ours. Hee, if it were not for this fortune, I would not have come to the gold tripod city. It is too dangerous after all. If we're not careful, we might die. Yeah, 20 million demonic beasts. This is not a martial arts competition. There was an unwritten rule in the true spirit continent, which was that after the beast wave, all the materials and pellets would belong to the warriors who participated in the battle. No matter how powerful the others were, they would not have the right to interfere. Otherwise, they would be attacked by all the warriors in the world, which would not be good for their reputation. Although the rank 1 beast materials were not that valuable, millions of them would be enough to make someone rich. Not to mention the rank 2 beasts, rank 3 beasts, and even rank 4 beasts. Of course, all this wealth would not be given to one person. It would belong to all the warriors who participated in the battle. But it would still be quite a lot. A lot of people would not be able to make that much money in 10 years. Shoo! 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 Beams of light shot out everywhere. There were astral-reaching realm warriors coming back from time to time. The horned dragon snake is indeed a powerful beast with the ancient beast bloodline. Even though it is wounded, it is still very powerful. On the way back, an astral-reaching realm warrior said emotionally. The astral-reaching realm warrior next to him said, during the beast wave, the beast's behavior would become more and more crazy. If it wants to run away, we would not be able to stop it. All right, how are your wounds? Not bad. The main thing is that I had burned my Zhen Yuan and hurt my meridians. I will be able to recover after half a month. Let's go check out the gold tripod city. The astral-reaching realm warriors were extremely fast. Soon, they arrived in the sky outside the city. Yeah, everything is under control. Let's go to the city wall and watch the battle. Unless it is the last resort, we will not interfere if we can. Seeing the astral-reaching realm warriors appearing on top of the city wall and not helping out, the warriors down below did not complain at all. They knew very well that if the astral-reaching realm warriors used all of their power, the small beast wave would be destroyed soon, and they would not be able to do anything. However, the astral-reaching realm warriors were all proud. Before the gold tripod city was about to be destroyed, they would definitely not help out. The Black Crow Man and the Fire Spirit had also arrived. The Fire Spirit scanned around and soon found Wu Yangyu. He laughed. Your disciple is too reckless. He had found a top rank 6 beast to fight with. The Black Crow Man followed his gaze and said helplessly, Liang Yu has always been so powerful. All right, let me see how powerful he is. Wu Yangyu's opponent was a top rank 6 beast, the Black Wind Snake. It was hundreds of meters long and looked like a small hill when it was coiled up. Its tongue was like a flying sword, making a hissing sound. Its power was no weaker than the Iron Scale Beast. It might even be slightly more powerful. However, under Wu Yangyu's attack, it was soon covered with wounds. Its tail had also been cut off, and its blood had dyed the ground red. Die! Wu Yangyu's body flashed once, brushing past the Black Wind Snake's neck. Shoo! The Black Wind Snake's huge head fell down. Its thick and long body struggled for a while, but eventually stopped moving. The top-ranked 6 beast, the Black Wind Snake, was killed by Wu Lianyu. How is this possible? Some of the warriors yelled out. That was a top-ranked 6 beast. Although it did not have the ancient beast bloodline, it was still powerful enough to be compared to a peak-level late, clasping Yuan realm warrior. Does this mean that Wu Lianyu has the power to kill a peak-level late, clasping Yuan realm warrior? This year's Hidden Dragon rank, Wu Lianyu will definitely be able to shine. On the wall, the Black Crow Man smiled. Not bad, he had improved. He was able to kill the Black Wind Snake by himself. Even that little girl, Murong Qingsheng, could not do it. The Fire Spirit, my disciple. Turning around, the Black Crow Man was about to talk to the Fire Spirit, but he realized that the latter was looking somewhere else. Out of curiosity, the Black Crow Man also looked in that direction. In his sight, there was a teenager in blue walking in the beast wave. As he waved his sword, one after another, the beasts fell down one after another. Chapter 209. The Black Crow Man was shocked. Yi Chen's sword art was very simple, and it was only that one movement. But to be able to bring out such a powerful sword movement was definitely rare. Which martial institution is he from? How come I have never seen him before? All of a sudden, the Black Crow Man was confused. Black Crow, you have noticed it too? The Fire Spirit saw the expression on the Black Crow Man's face, so he chuckled. The Black Crow Man nodded. The Fire Spirit sighed. Right now, the young generation is indeed at its peak. Top martial geniuses are showing up one after another. I wonder who will be able to beat the rest of the generation and walk on the path of a king. Right now, it is still hard to tell. Once they all reach the astral reaching realm, it will be clear who is more powerful. The Black Crow Man said, Yeah, you are right. The astral reaching realm is a challenge. More than 90% of the young generation will be eliminated. Woo! Yi Chen's massacre had finally attracted a top-rank 6 demonic beast. It was none other than the Wind Wolf, which had the bloodline of an ancient demonic beast. It was the tyrant of the rank 6 demonic beasts. Its whole body was surrounded by a heavy beast chi, which was gray in color. Only a slight bit of beast chi had spread out, and it had already frozen a lot of low-level warriors' bodies. Their blood froze as they were stomped on by countless demonic beasts. Right now, it is still a bit difficult for me to fight against it. The beast with the ancient bloodline had an extremely powerful defense. Back in the Heaven Dream ancient place, Yi Chen had already seen it. Back then, the beasts were only at rank 3 or 4, and none of them had reached the top rank 6 level. The Wind Wolf had a huge body. Its 4 claws stood on the ground, and it opened its mouth and spat out a cloud of beast chi towards Yi Chen. Separate, flashing his body, Yi Chen's real body walked out from the shadow. Crack! The Zhenqi shadow was like a frozen block of ice. It started to crack inch by inch, as if it was a solid entity. Seeing this scene, Yi Chen was shocked. Let me help you. Out of nowhere, Guolan, the 4th knight, and the 6th knight appeared nearby. It was the 4th knight who had spoken. Yi Chen dodged the attacks of the Wind Wolves one after another and said, You can come, but Guolan and him should not come. With his powerful soul power, Yi Chen could tell that the 4th knight was a top-tier young warrior. Even if he was weaker than him, it would not be by much. As for Guolan and the 6th knight, they would just be sending themselves to their deaths. With the addition of 4th knight to the battle, Yi Chen felt much more relaxed, and could even counterattack occasionally. Chi! The sword Chi cut open the Wind Wolf's protective demonic aura and left a shallow sword mark on its skin. Compared to the huge body of the Wind Wolf, the sword mark was almost negligible. Yi Chen frowned. Although he knew that the Wind Wolf's defense was very high, he didn't expect it to be this high. This battle was going to be very difficult. Earth Dragon Strike. The 4th knight pressed both of his hands on the ground, and an earth dragon made of mud rose up into the sky and crashed towards the lunar Wind Wolf. The earth dragon dispersed, while the Wind Wolf remained unscathed. Howl! Possessing the bloodline of the ancient demonic beast, the Wind Wolf was very proud. Those barely visible wounds on its skin had angered it. It raised up its right claw and slammed down heavily. The ground was shaking. With the wind wolf's right claw as the starting point, spiderweb-like cracks started to spread out, covering both Yi Chun and the fourth knight. The next second, the demonic chi that froze their lungs rushed out from the ground, rampaging everywhere. Danger! Yi Chun was most afraid of the wind wolf's demonic chi, without a doubt. That demonic chi contained horrifying yin chi, which could easily freeze a warrior's blood and muscles. Once hit by it, unless someone came to save him, he would be killed instantly by the wind wolf's next attack. His body exploded, and Yi Chun turned into dozens of shadows and spread out. His real body was the fastest. Crack, 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 crack. Without even looking, Yi Chun could tell that most of his Zhen Qi shadows had been frozen by the demonic Qi. With just a slight touch, they would be shattered into pieces. Looking at where the fourth knight was, Yi Chun let out a breath. Facing the demonic Qi explosion, the fourth knight did not choose to run away. Instead, she punched on the ground and created a huge mud ball, covering her up. That mud ball contained a huge amount of Zhen Qi and had an amazing defense. However, it was also frozen at the moment, with a cold gray light on its surface. The mud ball exploded, and the fourth knight jumped out from it. Her face was slightly pale. Around them, a lot of warriors were attracted by this battle. Wow, 2 young warriors fighting against the wind wolf. How brave! What's the use of having courage? If this continues, they will die for sure. Yeah, the biggest difference between the wind wolf and normal top rank 6 demonic beasts is that it has the bloodline of the ancient demonic beast. Its body's defense is insane. Without enough attacking power, no one would be able to win against it. Shoo! Right then, a pitch-black cutting wave landed on the wind wolf's body. The wind wolf's body slightly tilted, and a long and narrow mark appeared on its body. It was very shallow, and it did not even break through the skin. It is Wu Yangyu. He is here as well. The gathering of the top 3 young warriors had attracted even more attention. Flapping his wings, Wu Yangyu floated in the air, his eyebrows slightly frowning. He had been wanting to see a top-rank 6 beast with the ancient demonic beast bloodline for a long time. Unfortunately, this kind of beast was very hard to come by. This small beast wave had gathered 20 million beasts, but only dozens of them had the ancient demonic beast bloodline. 80% of them were low-rank beasts, and there were only 2 or 3 top-rank 6 beasts. One of them had already been killed by someone. This wind wolf might be the last top-rank 6 beast with the ancient demonic beast bloodline around the Gold Tripod City. However, what surprised him was that his full power attack could not even break through the defense of the wind wolf. The wind wolf temporarily gave up on chasing Yi Chun and the fourth knight. It turned its head and spat out a pile of evil qi, which was spinning intensely at Wu Yangyu. Shoo! Flapping his pitch-black wings, Wu Yangyu instantly escaped from the attack range. Death Tornado! The first thing that Wu Yangyu did after stopping was to attack. The pitch-black, cutting waves stacked on top of each other, forming into something like a tornado, covering the wind wolf and attacking it again and again. The tornado disappeared, and the wind wolf's protective Jinqi layer had been destroyed. Countless hairs on the surface of its body had been broken. However, if one looked closely, they would be able to see that besides some small wounds on the wind wolf's body, there was no blood at all. It meant that Wu Yangyu's attack was not enough to break through its defense. On the other side, the fourth knight and Yi Chun attacked again. 3 times Earth Dragon attack. The fourth knight pressed both of his hands hard onto the ground. Because he had used too much power, both of his hands had sunk into the ground. The next second, 3 Earth Dragons appeared out of the ground, attacking onto the wind wolf's neck one after another. At first glance, one would think that they had attacked at the same time. Without any time to react, the wind wolf lost its balance, its 4 claws sliding on the ground. Lone peak kill. Yi Chen's body kept appearing and disappearing. When he reappeared, he was already at the side of the wind wolf's face. The Star Scar sword brought up an extremely sharp sword light, stabbing towards its eyes. If it were any other opponent, this sword attack would not be surprising at all. However, The wind wolf was able to close its eyes in that second. Shoo! The sword light pierced through the wind wolf's eyelid, but no one knew if it had hurt the eyeball or not. The wind wolf was furious. Its right claw tore through the air, landing on Yi Chen's body at a speed that was a few times faster than the speed of sound. Boom! The Zhenqi shadow was shattered, and Yi Chen's real body puked out a mouthful of blood at the same time. What fast speed! The real body did not even have the time to escape. The good thing was that the wind wolf did not use too much of its beast chi in that moment of desperation. Otherwise, it would not be as simple as puking out a mouthful of blood. Opening its eyelids, the wind wolf's pupils had a light bloody hole. It is wounded, but it is not deep enough to affect its attacking power. Yi Chen looked regretful. Around them, waves of beasts had been killed. Old Zhao, among all the clasping Yuan realm warriors in the gold tripod city, only you alone could kill a top-ranked 6 beast with ancient beast bloodline. Why don't you go take care of the wind wolf? No hurry. They are all top warriors of the young generation. Going up there would only annoy them. These two were indeed the ones who had discussed Yi Chen's sword art before. One of them was an elder who seemed to be in his 60s or 70s, and he was extremely powerful. With one casual attack, rows of beasts had fallen down. Even top-ranked 6 beasts could not take one attack from him. I had never thought about that. The elder laughed. Although I can kill the wind wolf, I might not be able to win against the 3 of them together. After all, my defense is not as good as the wind wolf. It is only my attack that is powerful. In order to kill the wind wolf, one's attacking power would have to be powerful enough. For example, the elder could kill the wind wolf, but if he had to face the 3 top warriors at the same time, he might be killed. And because the 3 top warriors' attacking power was not powerful enough, they would not be able to do anything to the wind wolf. In the end, it was all about attacking and defending. Oh, whoa. After being attacked one after another, the wind wolf had completely lost its mind. The beast chi on the surface of its body started to increase, shooting up into the sky. All the warriors who were standing close to it could only feel their bodies getting cold and numb. The more powerful warriors hurried to strengthen their Zhen Qi layer and backed out. So powerful! The great mysterious protective Zhen Qi layer let out a cracking sound. Yi Chen could not stop his body from moving and was forced to take 3 steps back. Each step left a deep footprint on the ground. The 4th knight and Wu Yangyu were also having a hard time. The wind wolf's beast chi contained a horrifying evil chi, which had weakened their Zhen Qi layer by 30%. The remaining 70% was only enough to protect them from being hurt, but not their bodies. Shoo! The wind wolf hated Yi Chen the most, so it was chasing after him first. Explode. His body exploded, and Yi Chen's real body escaped from the attack range. Waving its claws, it shattered all of the Zhen Qi shadows. The wind wolf turned its body around and jumped at Yi Chen again. How dare you ignore me? Seeing that the wind wolf was only chasing after Yi Chen, Wu Yangyu was very angry. He pushed his black crow great art to its limit, and 2 curved blades appeared in his hands. Death Tornado! If the wings counted as 2 blades, then Wu Yangyu had 4 blades right now. With 4 blades, he performed the Death Tornado at the same time, turning it into a Death Tornado. The cutting waves had been piled up crazily, forming a pitch-black tornado. It landed on the wind wolf's body within a second, brutally attacking. The lunar wind wolf was continuously pushed back by the waves of attacks. The huge pressure caused the ground to completely collapse and explode. It was a complete mess. However, its eyes quickly turned red, and its originally gloomy demonic aura was replaced by a faint bloody aura. It immediately blocked the attacks. Chapter 210. The wind wolf is going to use its bloodline power. The elder called Old Zhao said with a serious tone. The man next to him said, I have heard about the bloodline power, but I have never seen it before. The ancient beast bloodline is indeed very powerful. However, the wind wolf does not have much bloodline power. It can only use it once or twice at most. Whoa! The tornado disappeared, and all of the blood chi on the wind wolf's body gathered at its throat. It stepped on the ground with its 4 claws and stretched its body, letting out a destructive roar towards the sky. The roar turned into a sound wave ball, expanding with the wind wolf as the center. That speed was so fast that it could not even be described as lightning. All of a sudden, time seemed to have slowed down. Everyone's expression froze on their faces. Some of them were still in the position of killing the beasts, their blood splashing everywhere in the air. Among the crowd, only Yi Chun was shocked. The roar of the wind wolf could affect a warrior's sense of time. He, who had learned the poetic perspective of mountains and rivers, saw something different from the others. The mountain was still the mountain, and the water was still the water. The speed of the blood splashing was not slow at all, and it had already landed on the ground. Boom! His body exploded, and Yi Chun turned into countless shadows, shooting out towards the outside. The next second, the sound wave ball expanded to hundreds of meters wide, then turned into a tornado. Within the attack range, no matter if it was a warrior or a beast, all of them started to bleed and their bodies were blown away. The next second, an even more horrifying scene happened. More than half of the warriors and beasts were blown into pieces, turning into blood mist. Although Yi Chun's speed was fast, he was still not as fast as the sound wave ball expanding. He had only been grazed by it, and his ears started to bleed immediately. His heart was beating like a drum, as if it was going to jump out of his chest and explode. With a leap, Yi Chun had escaped from the most dangerous area. Turning his head, Yi Chun saw dozens of human figures shooting out in all directions, including Wu Yangyu and the Fourth Knight. As for the others, their bodies had already been shattered by the sound wave, leaving no bones behind. Wah! Landing heavily on the ground, Wu Yangyu and the Fourth Knight looked like ghosts. Blood could not stop flowing out of their eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. They had just lifted up their upper bodies when they puked out a huge mouthful of blood. On the city wall, the fire spirit said strangely, "Black Crow, this attack is not simple. You could have stopped it." The Black Crow Taoist shook his head. "It's better to let him suffer some setbacks. He won't die anyway." "Hee, that's really your style. But I seem to have some impression of that blue-clothed young man. A couple of months ago, I boarded the ocean beast of the South Chamber of Commerce on the Wild Goose Falling River. He was on that ship." The Black Crow Man did not pay too much attention to his disciple Wu Yangyu. His eyes landed on Yi Chun, who was the only one who was not injured. The fire spirit said, "In a one-on-one fight, he might not be able to beat your disciple. But when it comes to survival skills, your disciple will never be able to catch up with him." Yeah, that is exactly what Wu Yangyu lacks. A real powerful warrior cannot be achieved with just training. He has to go through all kinds of hardships to get a heart of gold. The Wind Wolf's roar had killed hundreds of warriors and hundreds of beasts. Its power was definitely horrifying. Even old Zhao, who was far away, would have to step back when facing the full power roar of the Wind Wolf, not daring to face it directly. However, being too powerful did not come without a price. The light in the Wind Wolf's eyes had dimmed a lot. Obviously, using its bloodline power by force had taken a huge toll on it. Now is the best chance to kill it. Old Zhao was very experienced, so he mumbled to himself. Right at that moment, someone attacked. That burning fire wave attacked him. Meng Chao laughed out loud. "This Wind Wolf, let me take care of it." Red burning godly palm. A red flame appeared on the Zhunqi giant palm as it landed heavily on the Wind Wolf's body. Boom! The Wind Wolf's four limbs were bent and sunk into the ground, bringing up dust everywhere. Die now. Meng Chao knew that this was his chance to become famous. He pushed his red burning godly art to its limit, and a sun-like fire exploded around his body. In that fire, both of his hands looked like they were filled with lead. Each palm was heavier than the previous one, continuously landing on the Wind Wolf's body. The red fire wave spread out everywhere, burning the ground into crystals. The Wind Wolf kept roaring and struggling, trying to get up. But Meng Chao did not give it a chance to breathe at all, suppressing it with all his might. On the side, Yichi did not do anything. With his soul power, he could sense that the Wind Wolf's blood chi had not completely disappeared. Instead, it had been scattered into all of its limbs and merged into its body. Right now, After being suppressed by Meng Chao, that blood chi was showing signs of gathering together. Dai. Although it was a bit unfair, Meng Chao was indeed in a good mood right now. The wind wolf that had beaten Wu Yangyu to the point where he could not even fight back was now in his hands. No matter what, it was still an honor that could not be taken away. Yi Chun frowned. That blood chi had gathered together and was all concentrated on the wind wolf's right claw. Because the right claw had sunk into the ground, no one had noticed it except for him. Crack! The ground was torn open, and a blood-red claw light shot out of the ground, grabbing onto Meng Chao's protective Jinqi layer. Under the invasion of the bloodline power, Meng Chao's protective Jinqi was extremely weak and was easily torn into pieces. With a loud clang, Meng Chao opened his mouth and spat out a large amount of blood and small pieces of flesh. His whole body was blown away in shock and crashed into the beast tide, killing a few beasts along the way. Meng Chao. On the city wall, the great master of the alchemist martial school flashed his body and traveled thousands of meters to save Meng Chao from the beast wave. Even Meng Chao had fainted. I can only say that the wind wolf is too cunning. He did not expect that he would still have some tricks up his sleeves. Only one warrior from the young generation is still standing. How unexpected. In everyone's mind, among the young generation that had come to the Gold Tripod City, Wu Yangyu, the fourth knight, Meng Chao, and Yi Chun were the most powerful. Right now, Wu Yangyu and the fourth knight were badly wounded and had lost most of their battling power. Meng Chao had fainted and had been taken away by the great master of the alchemist martial school. Right now, only Yi Chun in blue was not wounded at all. The blood chi has disappeared completely. Attack! The second he decided to attack, Yi Chun cleared his mind. All of the sounds in the world had been pushed out, and he had entered an empty realm that was very hard to enter. Without any desire, Yi Chun pushed his separating shadow flying art to its limit. In the first half of the journey, one could still see a light shadow, but in the second half, he had completely disappeared from everyone's sight. Only that light pattern in the air proved that he was still there. Lone Peak Kill. When he was only 3 meters away from the wind wolf, Yi Chun took out his Star Scar sword, stabbing it right into its throat. The wind wolf could only watch it happen. It had been badly wounded, so it could not dodge it at all. Its mind had been slowed down a lot. When it realized what was happening, the tip of the sword had already pierced into its skin. The second the sword pierced in, Yi Chun shook his wrist. The 11th movement of the Lone Peak 13 swords had been infused into his sword movement. Kill. It was easy to stab in. The wind wolf's body defense was indeed powerful, but the inside of its body was undoubtedly the weakest point. Even if it had the bloodline of an ancient beast, it would still be impossible to train its internal organs and muscles to the same level as its body surface defense. It was already going against all logic. As the sword pierced in, the sword chi that contained the sword intent exploded violently, crazily cutting the inside of the wind wolf's throat. If one could see through it, one could see that the inside of the wind wolf's throat had already been badly mutilated. There was no throat tissue left, only tiny pieces of flesh that had been cut by the sword chi. Pooh! Pulling out the Star Scar sword, Yi Chun's body exploded, turning into dozens of shadows and spreading out. Just as he had expected, the wind wolf had used its most powerful attack before it died. One claw had completely blown up the ground within 100 meters radius. The powerful claw power had penetrated deep into the ground. The muffled, rumbling sound did not stop for even a second and was getting further and further away. After using its most powerful attack, the wind wolf's life force seemed to have been sucked out along with it. The wound on its neck could not be controlled anymore. Blood poured out like a fountain, reaching dozens of meters long. Its huge body started to soften, lying on the ground, not moving at all. A few hundred meters away, Yi Chun was breathing heavily. So tired. That sword attack seemed to have merged with the one sword kill. I wonder how he did it. With only the Lone Peak Kill combined with the 11th movement of the Lone Peak 13 swords, the most he could do was wound the wind wolf, but he would never be able to kill it with one sword attack. After all, A starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Even without the strange blood chi and part of Yuan chi, the wind wolf was still one of the tyrants of the rank 6 beasts. It would not be easy to kill it. From the way Meng Chao was beating the wind wolf, it could be seen that a beast of this level would not be killed with 2 or 3 attacks. At that moment, Yi Chun, who had fallen into the empty realm, had instinctively performed the one-sword kill. Then, somehow, it had merged with the lone peak kill and stabbed into it with his mind. It was the second when he had merged with the one-sword kill that he had been able to merge with the 11th movement of the lone peak 13 swords. However, it would be impossible for Yi Chun to do it again. Right now, his mind was a mess and he did not know the details at all. If I could train that sword attack, even if I might not be invincible under the astral reaching realm, I would at least be one of the top warriors. Unfortunately, I do not have enough experience. It was luck that I was able to perform it once. If I want to perform it again, I would have to rely on my confidence. Yi-Chun shook his head and stopped thinking about it. He killed the wind wolf with one sword attack. I thought it would be a tough battle. Some warriors mumbled to themselves. His attacking power had increased drastically. It seems like he had made a huge breakthrough in that one day and one night of battling. I am so jealous. How come I did not make a breakthrough? If even you could make a breakthrough, that would be so worthless. Only 1 out of 10,000 people could make a breakthrough in an endless battle. It would be one of the rare battling martial geniuses. After the wind wolf had died, everyone started to talk about it. Without a doubt, the center of the discussion was Yi Chun, who had descended like a star. Although no one knew his name, they all thought that he had the power to be in the top 20 of the Hidden Dragon rank, and was qualified to compete with the top martial geniuses in the South River region. The power of that sword attack had already surpassed mine. Zhao's eyes were bright as he looked at Yi Chun. His friend said, "Is he that powerful? Killing a rank 6 tyrant beast with one attack. As far as I know, there are no more than 10 clasping Yuan realm warriors in the South River region who could do that. Of course, he is not even in the top 10, because those 10 people were all facing a rank 6 tyrant beast at its peak, not the wind wolf that had lost its bloodline power and a part of its Yuan Qi. But it is already horrifying. He is only at the mid-clasping Yuan realm. If he could reach the late-clasping Yuan realm, or even the peak-level late-clasping Yuan realm, I wonder how horrifying he would be." Zhao explained. Chapter 211. The night passed, and the morning arrived. The first beam of sunlight poured down from the dark clouds formed by the beast Qi, bringing a ray of light to the battlefield. "Buddy, we should go rest. You and I both know about the consequence of taking too many pellets." "You are right. The Zhen Qi quality is dropping. Let's go back to the Gold Tripod City and rest for a bit." Warriors were not like beasts. Without the advantage of Zhen Qi, their attacking power would drop drastically. But even without the beast Qi, the beasts still had their powerful bodies. Therefore, when the warriors reached their limit, they would immediately go back to the Gold Tripod City to train their Zhen Qi, trying to recover their attacking power. The rest of the warriors who could still fight would continue to fight and wait for their turn. Because of this, the warriors in the Gold Tripod City were at a disadvantage, and the number of casualties had increased drastically. "It is time for us to attack." The fire spirit stood up. The Black Crow Man performed his Black Crow Great Art, and a pair of pitch-black wings grew out of his back. He nodded and said, "The beast's endurance is way beyond human warriors. If we do not attack now, the rest of the warriors will not be able to survive. But we cannot kill them all." After communicating with each other, all of the astral reaching realm warriors started to attack. Death Tornado. It was exactly the same movement as Wu Liangyu, but it was performed by the Black Crow Man. However, it was 10 times more powerful. With one attack, at least thousands of beasts had been torn apart, and a huge area had been flattened. It was as easy as eating and drinking. Flowing Fireblade. The fire spirit's power was not any weaker than the Black Crow Man's. While he was walking, countless flame-like giant light blades were shot out, killing the beasts as if they were grass. The kind of casual and elegant artistic conception had shocked all the warriors who were still fighting on the battlefield. This is the power of an astral reaching realm warrior? There is no way to fight back. No wonder Thunderfreer said that even if I train my sword intent to completion and am at peak level 8 clasping Yuan Realm, I would only be able to run away and would not be able to fight back. After one day and one night, Yichen had not gone back to the city to rest at all. He had been fighting until now. For him, this kind of opportunity was hard to come by. If he did not try, he would definitely regret it. Seeing the astral reaching realm warriors attacking, he did not know where the energy came from. His mental state had recovered to its peak, and there was even a sign of a breakthrough. Haha, why are you saving your Jinyuan? Just use a few big moves, and it'll be over. In the sky, an astral reaching realm warrior flew to an extremely high place. He slowly raised both of his hands, as if he was holding something. All of a sudden, a thunderball shining with silver lightning appeared between his two hands. The thunderball expanded in the wind, and within a breath's time, it had expanded to dozens of meters in size. At first glance, one would think that he was holding a silver sun shining with lightning. Thunder explosion. He roared and swung the huge ball of lightning down. Rumble. It was as if the end of the world had arrived. Miles in the distance turned into a world of thunder and lightning. Right after that, an endless bright light blossomed, lighting up thousands of miles in radius. All the martial artists below the astral reaching realm hurried to close their eyes. They suspected that if they looked directly at that sun-like light, they would go blind. When he opened his eyes again, the world of thunder and lightning had disappeared. The remaining electric currents in the air were still crackling and roaming, and the demonic beasts that were trapped in it could not even be seen. Even the ground tens of meters deep had turned into nothingness. So powerful. He is at least at the late astral reaching realm, and he managed to kill tens of thousands of beasts with one attack. A lot of people were shocked. The Black Crow Man and the Fire Spirit looked at each other. Let's see who can kill more beasts with one attack. No burning of Jin Yuan. I have trained the fire element Jin Qi. My attacking range is definitely above yours. Then let's compete. The horrifying battlefield was obviously a place for astral reaching realm warriors to play games. They started to compete with each other, throwing out their ace attacks one after another. Every time, they could kill thousands or even tens of thousands of beasts. With Yichen's current cultivation, he could only kill about 100 beasts with one attack. But of course, the attacking power could not be measured by the attacking range. For example, Yichen's biggest attacking range was the tornado, which could kill almost 100 beasts with one attack. However, the lone peak kill could only kill a couple of beasts, or even one beast. But it was still not as powerful as the lone peak kill. On the contrary, the tornado was nowhere as powerful as the lone peak kill. The two could not be compared at all. Even so, facing an astral reaching realm warrior with a cultivation of peak level 8 clasping Yuan realm, it was not hard to imagine the disadvantage of facing an astral reaching realm warrior. After all, the opponent would be able to cover a huge area with only one attack. How could one escape? Even if one managed to escape, one would be exhausted and unable to do anything. Reaching this level, Yichen had to think about how to deal with astral reaching realm warriors. In less than 15 minutes, the number of beasts on the battlefield had been reduced by more than half. The remaining beasts were still a couple of times more than the warriors from the Gold Tripod City. Kill! Kill! Before, when the astral reaching realm warriors were showing off their power, everyone had taken a break, including Yichen. Right now, the number of beasts had been reduced by more than half, which was definitely a good thing. Shoo! 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 Killing a beast with one sword attack was obviously not that many compared to the other clasping Yuan realm warriors. However, Yichen's sword attack frequency was unimaginably high. With each breath, his body would travel 200 to 300 meters among the beasts. In the process, he had thrown out 67 sword attacks and killed 67 beasts. The efficiency of killing beasts was almost as high as his wide-range sword attack, Tornado Broken Clouds. Standing on top of a massive beast body, Yichen looked out. The outside of the Gold Tripod City had been dyed red. On the bloody ground, the number of beasts was less than 1 million, and the number of human warriors was around 400,000. Adding half of the warriors in the city, it would be 800,000. Out of the 2 million warriors, only 800,000 were left. The death toll had reached a shocking 1,200,000, which was definitely a terrifying number. Without reaching the clasping Yuan realm, it would be like dancing on the edge of a knife in this kind of large-scale battlefield. The good thing is that the gold tripod city is only this big, so the beast would not be able to squeeze in all the way. If it were on the grassland without any obstacles, 20 million beasts could easily kill 2 million warriors. Waving his sword and killing a beast that jumped on him, Yi Chun continued to kill. All right, I've been suppressing it all this time. It is time for you to taste the real power of the lone peak kill. Shaking his wrist, Yi Chun stabbed his sword into the neck of the bull-type beast. Pooh! Dozens of beasts in a straight line had all been pierced through by the sword chi, which was as fast as lightning. Although this attack of mine is a close combat sword attack, it does not mean that it can only kill one target. With the help of the lone peak kill, the sword chi has a horrifying piercing power. Before, Yi Chun did not use it because he wanted to try it out. Plus, there were too many beasts, so it would be better to control the consumption of Jinqi. But now that the number of beasts had decreased drastically, Yi Chun did not have to worry so much anymore. He could just kill as much as he wanted. As the number of beasts decreased, the dark clouds formed by the beast chi in the sky had been dispersed. The golden sunlight shone down, brightening up the whole place. In the distance, in the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood, a lot of human-shaped blood mist suddenly screamed. As soon as the sunlight shone on them, they were burned into smoke. What is that? Including Yi Chun, a lot of people could not believe their eyes. On the city wall, the fire spirit forced a smile. Indeed, there will be blood demons in a big battle. The Black Crow Man said, "It is very hard to form a blood demon. It cannot be directly hit by the sunlight, and it needs to have enough blood and hatred. These blood demons are all low-rank blood demons, nothing to worry about." Just as the voice of the Black Crow Taoist priest faded away, cyan smoke rose from the lake-like blood water. After that, a blood shadow couldn't help but rush out of the water and rushed towards the shadowy corner. This blood shadow was shone upon by the sunlight, and smoke rose from its body as well. However, it was different from a human-shaped blood mist. Its body didn't dissipate all of a sudden. Instead, it slowly melted like a snowman under the scorching sun. Even a low-rank blood demon has formed. Some of the astral-reaching realm warriors were a bit surprised. Look, there is even a mid-rank blood demon. One of them reached out his hand and pointed at the dark corner of the corpse mountain. There was also a blood shadow there. It looked like a human, but the facial features were a bit blurry. Shoo! A rank 5 beast was passing by, but it did not have the time to escape before it was jumped on by the blood shadow. Something shocking happened. This blood shadow somehow managed to drill into the beast's body without any hindrance. After a while, it rushed out. The blood light on its body was even brighter, and its facial features seemed to be a bit clearer. Meanwhile, the rank 5 beast behind it had turned into a dried-up corpse. Such an evil existence. No wonder I saw a lot of human dried-up corpses at night. I thought they were killed by the beasts that specialized in sucking human blood. Yi Chun frowned. As the dark clouds of beast chi dissipated, more blood shadows appeared, attacking towards the beasts. As for the human warriors, they were too far away from there. Plus, they were under the sunlight, so none of the blood shadows attacked. If I am not mistaken, these blood demons have been formed since yesterday. They increased their cultivation by swallowing the blood of beasts and humans. Luckily, there are no high-rank blood demons. Otherwise, even with all of our power, we might not be able to stop them. Let's kill them now, just in case it causes more trouble. The fire spirit flashed his body and arrived in the middle of the battlefield within a couple of breaths. He threw out a casual attack. That flame-like blade, chi, seemed to be the nemesis of the blood demons. Once it touched them, they would be burned into nothingness. Too careless. The Black Crow Man shook his head and flew into the battlefield as well. The other astral-reaching realm warriors started to attack as well. They all looked very serious, worried about the appearance of a high-rank blood demon. Although it was not that easy to form a high-rank blood demon, there were too many top-rank beasts and warriors on the battlefield. As long as they swallowed enough blood of the same rank, they might be able to create a high-rank blood demon. As the astral-reaching realm warriors attacked, they also took care of the beasts. They did not want to leave any blood for the blood demons to grow stronger. Yi Chun and the rest of the warriors went back to the wall of the gold tripod city and watched the scene down below. Boom! The fire spirit had the most destructive power for the blood demons. With one attack, none of the blood demons could escape. Even after all the blood demons had been killed, the astral-reaching realm warriors still did not let their guard down. They started to use their Zhen Yuan to evaporate the blood. As for the smaller ones, they did not care about it, since the formation of the blood demons would require a huge amount of blood and hatred. Under the sunlight, the smaller ones would dry up very quickly. What everyone did not know was that there was also a huge amount of blood water in the deep underground. It was the blood that seeped down from above, forming an underground blood river. Inside the blood river, a blood shadow appeared slowly. The face was very clear, just like a real person. He had a nasty smile on his face, and the expression in his eyes was as evil as one could imagine. It was like a combination of evil. Chapter 2:12. The battlefield was way too huge. It was hundreds of miles in radius. It was not until the afternoon that dozens of astral-reaching realm warriors managed to evaporate the blood river that had the potential to form a blood demon. Luckily, no top-rank blood demons appeared. The fire spirit said in relief. The Black Crow Man said, there are different levels of top-rank blood demons. If it were a normal top-rank blood demon, I would be able to kill it for sure. If it were a bit more powerful, I think only your fire element Jin Yuan would be able to suppress it. As for the top-rank blood demons, I am afraid only the extremely rare Sun Jin Yuan would be able to suppress it. Another astral-reaching realm warrior walked over and laughed. Blood demons can increase their cultivation very fast in the early stages. Once they reach the top-rank blood demon level, even if they devour 100 blood essences of the same level, they would not be able to make much progress unless they devour extremely powerful essences or seas of souls realm warriors. Speaking of which, the blood demon's talents are way too powerful. We have spent decades to reach the astral reaching realm, but for the blood demons, as long as they have enough essences, they would be able to reach the astral reaching realm in a short period of time. The Black Crow Man laughed. I would rather train slower than become a blood demon. Before the blood demons reach the blood demon king level, they would always be afraid of sunlight, fire, and thunder. Even if they become a blood demon king, the Zhen Yuan with the 3 elements would still be able to suppress them. Plus, you guys should not forget that the blood demons only increase their cultivation by devouring essences. Once their consciousness starts to get messed up, that would be the time for them to die. Yeah. The biggest weakness of the blood demons is that they can easily break down their consciousness. The more they devour, the faster their consciousness will break down. In the human area, almost none of the blood demons could become a blood demon king, and very few of them could become blood demon generals. However, after this incident, we have indeed been too careless. It seems like we have forgotten a lot of the horrifying records in the past 1,000 years. Everyone was speechless. In the human history, there were a few blood demon disasters. The first one was too far away from the modern era, which was in the ancient era. The second one was 50,000 years after the ancient era, and the third one was 1,000 years ago. The records for the first 2 were very vague, since it was way too long ago. However, the third one was very detailed. Back then, the true spirit continent was at its peak. Almost every 3 days, there would be a small beast wave in every country. Every half a month, there would be a medium beast wave in mid-sized countries, and every half a year, there would be a large beast wave in the big countries. It had been like this for a whole year. In the endless battles, both the demonic beasts and humans had suffered great losses. The number had reached a horrifying 300 billion. The blood light had shot into the sky, turning the clouds in the sky red. The rain was also blood rain. A lot of warriors had been attacked by the blood light, and turned into murderous maniacs. There were also a lot of people who had lost their minds and died. Such a horrifying environment was undoubtedly a paradise for the blood demons. Countless blood demons were born in the mountains of corpses and oceans of blood. At first, there were only a few of them, but because the humans did not manage to get rid of them in time, they continued to be born. Eventually, after the beast wave had ended, the number of blood demons had reached 100 million. Among them, there were hundreds of blood demon generals. Due to some special reasons, there was also an incomplete blood demon king. Perhaps for the whole human race, hundreds of blood demon generals and an incomplete blood demon king were not worth mentioning at all. But the disaster would not disappear just because the human race was powerful. 100 million blood demons had destroyed countless countries and devoured billions of human beings' blood. Even a lot of Sea of Souls realm warriors and a life and death realm warrior had been killed. It should be known that not even a single life and death realm warrior had died in that beast wave. From then on, as long as the scale of the battle was over 1 million people, there would be people who would specifically clean out the blood demons, just in case. For some reason, many of the beast waves in the past did not produce any blood demons. Even if there were, it would only be a small group, and most of them would be low-rank blood demons. There would be very few low-rank blood demons. Perhaps it was because of this that people had become careless and did not pay much attention to the blood demons. All right, the beast clouds have already disappeared. This area is completely under the sunlight, so there will not be any new blood demons. Let's go back. Yeah, there will be the army of the gold tripod city to clean up the battlefield. The dead bodies of the beasts on the battlefield were not complete. Many of them had already been shattered, but if one collected them carefully, there would still be a lot of beast materials and pellets. On the wide street of the gold tripod city, Yi-chun and Guolanyue were walking side by side, preparing to go back to their respective hotels. Before the beast wave happened, today would have been the annual auction of the gold tripod city. But now, it might be delayed for a while. Guolanyue smiled with her eyes squinted. Yi-chun said, I would like to digest some of my battle experience. After battling for a long time, there were a lot of things that he did not have the time to digest and understand. Yi-chun needed to train while his memory was still very clear, turning all of those experiences into his own power. Hee, you are indeed a training maniac. But our moon pavilion needs martial geniuses like you. Guolanyue's eyes were filled with passion. She was sure that once Yi-chun joined the Moon Pavilion 7 nights, he would be able to push the 7 nights to a whole new level, although he might not be as powerful as the 3rd night right now. Yi-chun shook his head and said, Wait until I have a reason. Maybe I will join the Moon Pavilion. Right now, the Moon Pavilion is not attractive enough for me. For Yi-chun, everything he did must have a purpose. He could not do it blindly and irresponsibly. Right now, he did not have any reason or purpose to join the Moon Pavilion. The more Yi-chun rejected, the more anxious Guolanyue was. She planned to report Yi-chun's situation to the management and the leader of the building as soon as she got back to the Moon Pavilion. They arrived at the hotel where Yi-chun was staying. After greeting each other, the two of them separated. Young warrior, the bath water is ready for you. Outside the guest room, the waiter said with respect. Tipping the waiter 10 silvers, Yi-chun pushed open the door and walked in. Inside the bathroom, Yi-chun relaxed and closed his eyes slightly. He tried to recall everything that happened on the battlefield. Maybe it was because of his soul power, but some of the details that he usually did not pay attention to were all recalled. For example, a certain sword attack, a certain dodge, a certain kill. There seems to be something wrong with the angle. The dodging route is too sloppy. The kill is not clean enough. The more he tried to recall, the more mistakes Yi-chun realized. It was not because his power had dropped, but because he had been fighting way too often. Once or twice would be enough to keep him at his best condition, but after 1,000 or even tens of thousands of times, mistakes would be hard to avoid. Even for Yi-chun, slowly letting out a mouthful of dirty air that did not exist, Yi-chun opened his eyes and mumbled to himself. There sure are a lot of mistakes. This is what humans are like, full of uncertainty. Swoosh! Standing up from the bath, Yi Chen's slim and muscular body was vaguely visible under the cover of the steam. Right now, he was already 17 years old, and his body was basically fully developed, which made him look even more powerful and explosive. Changing into clean clothes, Yi Chen went back to his bedroom and started to meditate and train quietly. On the battlefield that was filled with dead bodies, groups of fully armed soldiers were collecting the materials and pellets from the dead bodies of the beasts. Right next to them were huge wooden carts. So many beast materials. How much money would it cost? How about we hide a few beast pellets, the kind of high-grade ones? I advise you not to do anything stupid. Can't you see that someone is watching? If you are discovered, you will be executed immediately. Hee, I am just joking. This kind of joke is not funny. The beast wave was taken care of by the warriors who participated in the battle. We did not contribute much, and it is not like we got nothing. As long as we collect all the beast materials and pellets, we will all get about 5%. If we split it evenly, it would be equivalent to 1 or 2 months of our income. So, just do what you're supposed to do, and don't think about anything else. The old captain of the soldiers advised patiently. Deep underground, inside the blood river, the blood shadow sensed the aura of the humans on the ground and was a bit restless. After a long time, it calmed down. No, these humans are too weak. Devouring their blood will only do me more harm than good. It will only make me collapse faster. Never mind, I will rest in the blood river for a while and try to consolidate my power. Blood demons were a strange kind of existence. They were born from the essence and resentment in blood. The information in their minds was very complicated, but there was no doubt that once they reached a certain level, they would be able to organize the complicated information and produce a unique intelligence. Laughing viciously, the blood shadow slowly sank into the blood river. Days passed by, and Yi Chen was still in the closed-door training mode. On the 5th day, a sharp intent burst out in the guest room, and the calm air started to ripple. Break! Opening his eyes, 2 beams of sword chi shot out from his eyes. Yi Chen opened his mouth and shouted with a low voice. Huh! The air ripple was cut open quickly, and a vague sword shadow flashed and disappeared. This sword shadow could not be seen by others, but only Yi Chen could feel it. A faintly discernible sound was heard. Yi Chen raised his head and looked at it. The bonsai in front of him shook slightly, and its leaves drooped down. It seemed like an invisible power had killed all of its vitality, and it became lifeless. 30% sword intent is entry-level sword intent, and 99% is entry-level sword intent. Right now, I am at around 50% sword intent. Sword intent was something like an illusion. Normally, it was hard to get into the beginner level, and it would be slightly easier in the later stages. Because before reaching the beginner level, one would not be able to feel its existence. Being able to learn the sword intent meant that one had to have a strong mind and a unique understanding of sword arts. Yi Chen had already learned the sword intent, and he had reached entry-level sword intent. He already had a certain understanding of the sword intent, which was why he knew what was needed for the growth of the sword intent and how to improve it. Without a surprise, the others were the same. However, it was only relatively easy in the later stages. A lot of people had limited potential, or because they were living in a small environment, which made their sword intent stagnate. Therefore, there were very few people who could reach entry-level sword intent, and 1 in 10,000 would be able to reach entry-level sword intent. As for the completed sword intent, there were not that many people in the whole true spirit continent. Therefore, no one knew what was beyond the completed sword intent. According to Yi Chen's understanding, the sword intent was a bit like a support tool. For example, a normal sword chi could cut a piece of steel, but if it contained the sword intent, it might be able to cut 2 pieces of steel. The reason was that the sword intent had changed the structure of the sword chi, which made the sword chi firmer and more destructive. However, the process of the sword intent changing the sword chi could not be affected by sword artists. Or, in other words, with Yi Chen's current cultivation, he was not able to affect the sword intent yet. But of course, the sword intent was not completely like a support tool. Because it was invisible, it could cut through the void, and could not be affected by any evil. Just like that attack, just now, it seemed like it did not exist, but it had actually killed the bonsai instead of destroying it. Chapter 213. Duh, 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 duh. A light knocking sound came from outside the room. In fact, this sound would be heard once a day. Getting off the bed, Yi-chun said, "Come in." Crack. The door was pushed open, and the waiter walked in with a gold card. "Young warrior, this is the VIP card that your friend asked me to give you." Yi-chun took it over and had a look. On it was written, "Gold Tripod City Auction House VIP card." A girl? Yi-chun asked. Yes. Yi-chun did not need a guess to know who it was. He asked again, "How many days until the Gold Tripod City Auction? Any news?" "It should be tomorrow." "Oh, go prepare some food for me." Putting away the VIP card, Yi-chun ordered. After 15 minutes, the food and wine were all served. Yi-chun was enjoying the food in the living room, on the 3rd street next door. Inside the guest room of the luxurious restaurant, Guolan, the 6th night and the 4th night were all there. They were discussing something. "Manager Gua, are you sure you want to recruit him into the Moon Pavilion?" The 6th night was playing with a small dagger. Guolan said, "Of course. It would be such a shame if we did not use such a talent." The 4th night had not fully recovered yet. His face was a bit pale as he said, "It would be very difficult. Geniuses all have their own way of doing things. It would be strange if it was not difficult. Just like the other 3 in the 7 nights, they are all top geniuses of their martial institutions. It took a lot of effort to invite them." The 6th night laughed. "It seems like Manager Gua already has a plan. It is not really a plan. We can only try to leave a good impression on him. When it is necessary, we can make him owe us a favor. For example, during this auction, if he has something that he likes, but he does not have enough money, I would not mind lending him some." Guolan revealed a smile on her face. As the manager of the Moon Pavilion, although her position was not really high, she could still use some resources. It seems like I have to train harder. Otherwise, I might really be kicked out of the 7 nights. The 6th night was feeling a bit stressed. The 2nd day, morning, the number of warriors on the street had increased again. Many of them were even wounded. "I heard that there will be a fire dragon fruit in this Gold Tripod City auction. I wonder if it is true." The fire dragon fruit is indeed a great item. For us, clasping Yuan Realm warriors, it is definitely a top-grade pellet. Unfortunately, we are not rich enough. Yeah, even if all of our assets were added up, we probably wouldn't even be able to buy the skin of the dragon fruit. That's enough. We've arrived at the auction house. At the grand and spacious entrance of the auction house, the few of them walked in side by side. Dragon fruit. Good stuff. Yi-chun fell into deep thought as he listened to the other party's words. He was currently at the mid-clasping Yuan realm, and if he wanted to reach the peak level of the mid-clasping Yuan realm, he would have to accumulate Zhun Qi slowly, which would not happen overnight. However, with this fire dragon fruit, he would be able to reach the peak level of the mid-clasping Yuan realm within a short period of time, which would save him a lot of time. After entering the gate, there was a gorgeous passageway on the right. 2 martial artists were guarding the passageway. It should be the VIP passage. Yi-chun walked over and flashed his VIP card. The warrior said with respect, "Please come in." Walking out from the other side of the passageway, Yi-chun saw Guolan. She was standing outside of a number 7 VIP room, and his VIP card was also number 7. Guolan laughed. "Yi-chun here." Entering the luxurious VIP room, Yi-chun looked around for a while before sitting on the leather chair in the middle. Guolan sat right next to him. "I heard that there will be a fire dragon fruit in this auction," Guolan said casually. Yi-chun nodded. "I know. This fire dragon fruit is not a normal treasure. Without at least 3 to 400,000 low-rank soul stones, it would be hard to get it. But I can lend it to you for now." Yi-chun smiled but did not say anything. Soon, the auction had started. The auctioneer with gray hair walked onto the stage. He started with the opening speech, then said, "Just like before, the Gold Tripod City auction will be divided into 2 parts. The first part will be trading with gold, and the second part will be trading with soul stones. I am sure that the first part will have a lot of treasures. Some of the treasures might even be more valuable than the treasures in the second part. If there are people who are interested but do not have enough gold, you can exchange soul stones for gold. The exchange rate is 1 to 350. Of course, our gold tripod city auction will only accept soul stones for gold. Exchanging gold for soul stones is against the rules. Now let the auction begin. Let's bring the first item to the stage. As the auctioneer finished talking, the whole place quieted down. A beautiful waitress walked out from the backstage with a round plate in her hand. The first item is a top-rank Mortal Realm martial art manual, named the Clear River Spell. It is named after the Clear River Spell. The Zhen Qi trained with it would be much denser than normal top-rank Mortal Realm martial arts. The starting price is 30,000 gold, and each increment must be at least 1,000 gold. Taking off the silk on the plate, the auctioneer introduced the name and the effect of the manual. 32,000. 35,000. Most of the bidders were condensing reality realm warriors. Although a lot of them had top-rank Mortal Realm martial arts, they still had a few high-rank Mortal Realm martial arts. Some of them did not even have top-rank Mortal Realm martial arts. Therefore, every time there was an auction, they would try their best to fight for it. Soon, the Clear River Spell was bought by a mid-condensing reality realm warrior for 48,000 gold. Taking a sip of the tea that the waitress had brought, Yi Chun looked relaxed. He leaned back on the leather chair. Some of the items in the first part of the auction would not be that good, so he would not bid for it. But, seeing how excited everyone was, he found it quite interesting. As time passed, the value of the items in the auction got higher and higher. The next item should be quite familiar to everyone. Those who use blades will definitely like it. The 37th item, a low-rank great weapon, the blue light blade. Boom! The whole auction room was suddenly filled with excitement. A low-rank great weapon had appeared in the first part of the auction, which was rare. No wonder the auctioneer was so confident. The starting price of the blue light blade is 1 million, and each increment must be no less than 50,000. Those who are interested, please start bidding. 1,500,000, 2 million, 3 million. Within a few breaths, the price of the blue light blade had shot up to 3 million. But Yichen was a bit surprised. When he was in the northwest auction house of the Windy Nation, the top low-rank great blade, the sky-splitting blade, only had a starting price of 300,000 gold. This blue light blade was not as powerful as the sky-splitting blade, but it still had a starting price of 1 million. Of course, the final result should be about the same. The sky-splitting blade was bought by Lynch for 5,700,000 gold. Presumably, the final price of this blue light blade would not be lower than that. After all, the Black Dragon Empire was not the Windy Nation. There were way too many rich people. Just as Yichen expected, the blue light blade fell into the hands of a late clasping Yuan realm warrior, and the final price was 5,500,000 gold. The first part of the auction is about to end. Now, it is the last item, which is also the highlight of the auction. My friends who are short of gold, do not forget that we can exchange soul stone for gold at a ratio of 1 to 350. A lot of people roll their eyes. In the market, a low-rank soul stone was worth around 400 gold. Sometimes there would be a drop in the price, but it could still be exchanged for 400 gold. But here, it was 1 to 350, which meant that a low-rank soul stone could only be exchanged for 350 gold. Guolanhua laughed. Don't be fooled by the looks of disdain on most people's faces. When it comes to the critical moment, there must be a lot of people who want to exchange for gold. Yichen nodded. The last item of the first part of the auction would not be something simple. Some of the clasping Yuan realm warriors did not lack soul stones, but it did not mean that they did not need gold. After all, most of the time, hundreds of thousands of gold would be more than enough. Waiting until the beautiful waitress put the round plate on the auction table, the auctioneer lifted up the silk cloth and said with a loud voice, "The last item of the auction, 3 sword-shaped plants." Sword-shaped plant. Yi Chun frowned. He had never heard of this kind of spiritual grass. Contrary to Yi Chen's reaction, a lot of clasping Yuan realm martial artists in the other VIP rooms were tempted. There were even 1 or 2 astral-reaching realm martial artists among them. The auctioneer said slowly, "Everyone should know about the natural moat gorge of the Wild Goose Falling River. Back then, when the Battle King split open the Sky Pillar Mountain and formed the natural moat gorge. The remaining sword intent had not dissipated even after 500 years. It has been covering the inside of the natural moat gorge all this time. If you go in recklessly, you will definitely have your soul crushed by that horrifying sword intent, and you'll be dead for sure. It is said that there was once an astral-reaching realm warrior who went in, and since then, no one has seen him ever again. Within the area of the natural moat gorge, there were almost no plants that could survive. Even if someone tried to plant some, the life force in the seeds would be destroyed by the sword intent left behind by the Battle King. However, there was always a chance of survival. On the outer mountain wall of the natural moat gorge, there was a kind of plant that had survived. It was called the iron rock plant, which was extremely tough. Normal people would not be able to cut it apart with only a single attack. It was this kind of plant that had survived the Battle King's sword intent and slowly turned into a new kind of plant, the sword-shaped plant. Of course, not every iron rock plant could turn into a sword-shaped plant. The chance was so low that not even 1 out of 10,000 of them would succeed. Once the iron rock plant turned into a sword-shaped plant, it would absorb a tiny bit of sword intent. This sword intent had no shape or form, but it was very precious to the sword artists who had learned the sword intent. It was said that there had been people who had broken through the limit of the sword intent with the help of the sword-shaped plant and achieved entry-level sword intent. There were also people who had achieved entry-level sword intent. There were countless examples. You can all go and ask for proof. Inside the VIP room, after hearing the auctioneer's explanation, Yi Chun thought to himself, I see. The Battle King's sword intent is way too powerful. Go to the natural moat gorge would be suicide. But the sword-shaped plant will be different. It does not contain a lot of sword intent, so it would not be dangerous. What? Are you interested? This thing is very popular. You are so unlucky. Because of the beast wave, there were a lot of sword artists who had come to the Gold Tripod City. A small portion of them had already learned the sword intent, including an astral-reaching realm sword artist. He would definitely not give up on the sword-shaped plant. Guolan Yue was very happy. Looking at Yi Chun, she knew that he was interested in the sword-shaped plant. But with his wealth, how could he compete with an astral-reaching realm sword artist? Then, she would be able to lend him some gold and make him owe her a favor. Yi Chun did not care too much about it. He did not have much, but he had plenty of gold. If he did not have enough gold, he still had a lot of jewelry and manuals. He even had millions of soul stones. It would be a piece of cake for him to get this sword-shaped plant. Chapter 214. The auctioneer did not waste any more time. He reached out his hand and lifted up the cloth. The 3 sword-shaped plants were lying quietly on the round plate. They were just like their name, shaped like a sharp greatsword. There seemed to be a sharp light coming out of the tip, making people feel cold. The starting price for the sword-shaped plants is 3 million gold. Each bid must be at least 100,000 gold. The bidding starts now. 3,200,000. 3,300,000. The bidders were not all sword artists who had learned the sword intent. A lot of powerful sword artists who had not learned the sword intent had also joined the bidding. They all had the same idea, which was to see if they could make a breakthrough with the sword-shaped plants and learn their own sword intent. Yi Chun did not rush to join the bidding, since it was not the right time yet. Guolan Yue saw that Yi Chun was calm and steady, so she could not help but look at him in a higher light. On this true spirit continent, a warrior who could improve his power at a fast speed with a powerful survival ability and be extremely calm at the same time. These kinds of geniuses were really rare. In the VIP room next door, a young man and an elder were sitting there. The young man was dressed in luxurious purple clothes, and his face was filled with arrogance. The old man had a head of black hair, and his face was thin. What was strange was that his skin was actually purple and stretched taut. At first glance, one would think that he was a hardened corpse of a zombie. These 3 sword-shaped plants might be able to help me learn the sword intent. With the sword intent, my power would increase by at least 10%, and I would be more confident in the competitions of the Hidden Dragon rank. The young man's eyes were burning with passion as he raised his hand and said, 4 million gold. 4 million. Anyone else? The auctioneer looked around. 5 million. Someone had increased the price. Guolanyue said, "Why are you still not joining?" Yichen said, "No rush." 7 million. Inside the vast auction house, the voice was echoing. Not knowing if it was just an illusion, everyone could feel a sharp intent spreading out, piercing through people's hearts. What a powerful sword intent. Yichen's expression changed a little bit. This sword intent was way more powerful than his. Even if it was not the completed sword intent, it would not be far from it. Guolanyue reminded him. He is that astral-reaching realm sword artist. Adding 2 million silvers all of a sudden. Ghost, this man is that astral-reaching realm sword artist. The arrogant teenager asked the elder next to him. The zombie-faced old man called the ghost elder said, "You don't have to worry about increasing the price. This person has his own way of doing things. It's impossible for him to kill people and steal their treasures." "That's good." The youth raised his hand. 8 million taels. Old Sue, it's not that I want to criticize you, but when it's time to be ruthless, you should be more ruthless. Make others fear you. That way, those juniors won't dare to compete with you. In the VIP lounge near the center, 2 middle-aged men in their 50s were sitting on leather chairs. The one who spoke was a fierce-looking man with a curly beard. Beside him was a middle-aged man with a square face. He was full of righteousness and looked straight ahead. The square-faced man smiled faintly. "You don't understand my Tao." "This again." The fierce-looking middle-aged man smiled helplessly. The square-faced middle-aged man didn't bother to defend himself. His voice rang out, 10 million taels. A smile appeared on the auctioneer's face. 3 sword-shaped plants could be sold for 10 million taels, which was already the best. Although there were not many sword-shaped plants in the Natural Mo Gorge, they were not that rare either. Every year, a small batch of them would grow. However, most of them were taken by the big martial institutions. Plus, the sword intent contained in the sword-shaped plants was only one stream. The chance of improving the sword intent was very small. The arrogant young man clenched his teeth. 12 million taels. 15 million taels. Just when he was bidding, the voice came again. "Ghost Elder, how many low-rank soul stones do you have? I will return them to you when we get back." The arrogant young man was determined to get the sword-shaped plants. There was no sword artist who didn't want to learn the sword intent, and he was no exception. The ghost elder frowned and said, 3 sword-shaped plants might not be enough for you to learn the sword intent, but I don't think you will give up just like that. How about this? If the price is over 30 million taels of gold, give up immediately. Low-rank soul stones were not cabbages. Normally, even the leader of a rank 8 or 9 martial institution would not have too many low-rank soul stones. The consumption of the whole martial institution would be a huge burden. "All right." The young man nodded and said, 20 million taels. 30 million taels. Tightening his fists, the young man sat down dejectedly. He was hoping to win, but now he realized that it would be stupid to compete with an astral-reaching realm warrior in terms of wealth. Guolanyue secretly clicked her tongue. In just a short while, the price had already reached 30 million taels of gold. Even an astral-reaching realm warrior would not have that much gold. He should be preparing to exchange it with low-rank soul stones. As for mid-rank soul stones, it was not quite possible, since no one would be stupid enough to exchange mid-rank soul stones for low-rank soul stones. That would be a waste of a great treasure. Normally, even if you had a lot of gold, people might not be willing to exchange mid-rank soul stones with you. If you do not have gold, remember to ask me. Guolanyue smiled at Yichen. Yichen did not care about him. He raised up his hand and said, 50 million. What? You are crazy. The smile on Guolanyue's face froze. The square-faced man was a bit surprised. Raising the price by 20 million taels of gold at once was quite bold. He bid again, 60 million. The auction was dead silent. It was so quiet that even the sound of a needle dropping could be heard. Yichen looked normal, 70 million. 80 million. 100 million. Boom. The quiet auction ground had gone completely crazy. 100 million taels of gold. Even the top-rank 7 martial institutions would not be able to take it out all of a sudden. It was not that they did not have the wealth, but it depended on who and what was going on. For something as small as the sword-shaped plant, no one would raise the price to 100 million taels of gold. It was not worth it. Guolanyue opened her mouth wide, not knowing what to say. She thought that Yi Chan would borrow money from her, but 100 million taels of gold was already beyond her control. Even if she wanted to borrow money, she would not be able to, since she was only a manager, not a manager of the Moon Pavilion. You have that much gold? Guolanyue asked. Yi Chan said, adding those jewelry, it should be about right. Did you rob a small martial institution? Guolanyue wiped off her sweat. I'm not that crazy yet. On the other side, the square-faced, middle-aged man laughed. 100 million taels of gold? How dare he say that? All right, I only have this many low-rank soul stones with me. I have just added 3,000 mid-rank soul stones. The rest of the mid-rank soul stones will be used for training. Let's not compete anymore. The evil-looking middle-aged man said. What are you afraid of? I still have some low-rank soul stones with me. Worst comes to worst, I will add some mid-rank soul stones. Before the square-faced man could say anything, the evil-looking middle-aged man bid directly. 120 million. The auctioneer wiped off his sweat, which was from the excitement. 3 sword-shaped plants being sold for 120 million was definitely the first time in history. He said with a shaky voice, 120 million. Who else wants to bid? If not, I will start the count. 150 million. Yi Chan raised his hand in front of Guolanyue's shocked eyes. Damn, how much gold does this brat have? The evil-looking middle-aged man wanted to raise his hand, but he put it back down. As an astral-reaching realm warrior, he did not have that many low-rank soul stones with him. He had used all of them to exchange for mid-rank soul stones. If he kept this up, he might not even be able to keep his training capital. 150 million. Who else? Who else wants to bid? The auctioneer now knew what it meant to be rich. He did not even care about gold at all. He could guarantee that even the leader of a rank 7 martial institution would not be able to compete with him. Who would spend 150 million on 3 sword-shaped plants? He waited for a while, but no one responded. 150 million going once, 150 million going twice, 150 million going thrice. Sold. Congratulations to the friend in the number 7 VIP room. Guolanyue rolled her eyes. 150 million taels of gold for 3 sword-shaped plants? What a waste. Even if gold is worthless, it should not be used like this. Gold is only a material thing. These 3 plants are very useful to me, and it will be hard to find them in the future. Yi Chan had his own plan. These 3 plants contained the sword intent left behind by the Battle King, and he had the Battle King's sword with him. He had a feeling that when the Battle King's sword touched the sword intent left behind by the Battle King, something unexpected would happen. It would be an opportunity that he could not let go of. As for the gold, he did not care about it at all. He had got more than 40 million gold from the Goat Head Mountain, and added with the 10 million gold that he had now, it would be around 60 million gold. If he added the jewelry, he would have around 110 million gold. The 40 million gold that he needed would only be around 100,000 low-rank soul stones, and he had more than 2 million low-rank soul stones with him. Besides that, he also had 4 mid-rank Earthrealm manuals. According to 5 million gold for 1 low-rank Earthrealm manual, he could sell them for at least 10 million gold, which would be more than enough to cover the 40 million gold gap. Never mind, there will be the Fire Dragon fruit in the second part of the auction. You should exchange all of your low-rank soul stones for gold. Then, the Fire Dragon fruit would be hard to get. Guolanyue thought that Yi Chan had put all of his money into this, including the low-rank soul stones. Otherwise, how could a normal person have 150 million gold? Even Sea of Souls realm warriors would not have that much gold. For warriors, soul stones were the most important thing, and having hundreds of thousands of gold would be more than enough. 3 sword-shaped plants were soon brought in. Yi Chan did not put them into the storage ring of the Battle King's sword, since it was not the right time yet. The second part of the auction begins now. From now on, gold would not be able to participate in the bidding. Only soul stones would do. The rule of the Gold Tripod City auction is that 1 mid-rank soul stone can be exchanged for 45 low-rank soul stones, and low-rank soul stones cannot be exchanged for mid-rank soul stones. After resting for a while in the backstage, the auctioneer walked up again. Hearing those words, Yi Chun chuckled to himself. One mid-rank soul stone could normally be exchanged for 50 low-rank soul stones, which would only be higher. Normally, not many people would exchange mid-rank soul stones for low-rank soul stones, just like how not many people would exchange low-rank soul stones for gold. It was a bit of a contradiction, but it was the common sense of the true spirit continent. If he did not have enough gold and jewelry, Yichen would not want to use his mid-rank soul stones to exchange for them, since gold would only appear in small-scale auctions. In a big auction like the Gold Tripod City, it would be very rare to see the first part of the auction with gold. Chapter 2:15. The first auction item is a low-rank inner armor, the Black Scale Armor. Warriors below the astral reaching realm can increase their defense by more than 10%. Besides that, the Black Scale Armor itself is extremely tough, almost indestructible. The base price is 15,000 low-rank soul stones, and each increment must be no less than 1,000 low-rank soul stones. The auctioneer took off the silk cloth on the round plate and said loudly, "Low-rank inner armor?" Yi Chun touched his chest. He was also wearing a low-rank light armor. If it were not for this low-rank light armor, he would have taken a gold-shattering finger attack from Mr. Jean in the heavy, mysterious mountains, and it would have broken more than just a couple of ribs. After all, Mr. Jean was an experienced late clasping Yuan realm warrior, and the gold-shattering finger was a mid-rank Earth realm finger art, which was quite powerful in breaking defenses. Even if Yi Chun had trained his King Kong Jade body, it would still be hard for him to block it head-on. While Yi Chun was thinking, the price of the Black Scale Armor kept increasing. Soon, it had broken through the 30,000 mark, reaching 32,000 low-rank soul stones. This price was basically twice of the other low-rank great weapons. But it was not that surprising, since life-saving items were always very precious, especially when battling with beasts. Having a low-rank inner armor was definitely the most important thing. But of course, everything had its price limit. When the price of the Black Scale Armor reached 50,000 low-rank soul stones, no one raised the price anymore. One after another, the auction items were sold, and the atmosphere was getting heated up. 5 Fire Yuan Crystals. The Fire Yuan Crystals contain extremely pure Fire Yuan Qi. Warriors who train fire element martial arts would not need to spend much effort to absorb the Fire Yuan Qi and turn it into their own Jin Qi or Jin Yuan. According to my estimation, each Fire Yuan Crystal is equivalent to 15,000 low-rank soul stones. Therefore, the base price of 5 Fire Yuan Crystals is 75,000 low-rank soul stones. Each increment must be no less than 5,000 low-rank soul stones. The bidding starts now. 80,000, 90,000. The rich clasping Yuan Realm warriors made their moves, and they were all late clasping Yuan Realm, or even peak-level late clasping Yuan Realm warriors. Normal clasping Yuan Realm warriors could not even get 50,000 low-rank soul stones, so naturally, they would not be able to compete. Inside the VIP room, the fire spirit who was sitting next to the Black Crow Man raised his hand. 200,000. Once this price was out, everyone went silent. There were actually late clasping Yuan Realm warriors who could take out 200,000 low-rank soul stones, but it would definitely be a huge loss for them. After all, they would still need a huge amount of low-rank soul stones in the future, and they would not be able to spend all of them at once. Plus, they would not be able to compete with astral-reaching realm warriors in terms of wealth. Just like the auction of the sword-shaped plant, if that astral-reaching realm warrior did not participate in it, 30 million gold would be the highest price, and it would not be able to reach 150 million gold. For astral-reaching realm warriors, besides mid-rank soul stones, everything else was nothing. In another VIP room, Tian Hao and the Supreme Elder of the Alchemist sect were sitting together. As for Meng Chao, he was still recovering from his injuries. The old man said slowly, 250,000. The fire spirit continued to increase the price. 300,000. Astral-reaching realm warriors are all so rich. In all fairness, after losing the wealth that he had gotten from the Goat Head Mountain, Yi Chun would not be able to compete with the astral-reaching realm warriors at all. The sword-shaped plant would definitely be bought by that astral-reaching realm warrior. Guo Langyue glanced at Yi Chun. Only you would be stupid enough to compete with an astral-reaching realm warrior. Yi Chun forced a smile. He knew that she was still thinking about this. His thinking was very simple. He would not let go of anything that could increase his power. The true spirit continent was a world of powerful warriors, not a world of wealth. If he did not know what was more important, he would lose everything sooner or later. 300,000 has already surpassed the value of the fire yuan crystals. There is no point in continuing. The Supreme Elder shook his head and stopped bidding. In the end, 5 fire yuan crystals landed on the fire spirit's hand. The 25th auction item, a fire dragon fruit. Although the fire dragon fruit has the word fire in it, it is not a spirit fruit with a fire element. It is just a name. Besides, the fire dragon fruit does not contain yuan qi, but a huge amount of spirit qi. Spirit qi is the same quality as Zhen qi. Warriors can easily convert the spirit qi into their own Jin qi, and they do not need to train hard. This means that you can save a lot of time to accumulate Jin qi. For example, if you were at the early clasping yuan realm, 1 fire dragon fruit could help you reach the peak level of the early clasping yuan realm. Of course, the fire dragon fruit is not omnipotent. It can only increase Zhen qi quickly, but it cannot help you make a breakthrough. Everyone, please remember this, in case you say that the Gold Tripod City Auction House is cheating you. The auctioneer explained the effects of the fire dragon fruit in an orderly manner. Putting down the teacup, a smile appeared on Yi Chen's face. The fire dragon fruit was finally out. Right now, he was at mid-clasping yuan realm. If he wanted to reach the peak level mid-clasping yuan realm, he would need a lot of accumulation. If it was slow, it might take more than a year, and if it was fast, it would take at least half a year. For him, it would be way too long. Your competitors are all clasping yuan realm warriors. Normally, astral-reaching realm warriors would not participate. The fire dragon fruit would not have much of an effect on them. However, without 300,000 to 400,000 low-rank soul stones, you would not be able to get it. A lot of people did not participate in the bidding before because they wanted this fire dragon fruit. Guo Langyue said. Yi Chan said, since there are no astral-reaching realm warriors competing, then this fire dragon fruit will definitely be mine. So confident? Guo Langyue frowned. She did not understand where Yi Chan had gotten so much wealth from. After all, soul stones were not like gold, which one could have as much as one wanted. The soul stones were collected from the spirit fountain, and each party would not have too many spirit fountains. The true spirit continent spirit fountains were also quite limited. Every time one was used, it would be one less. However, gold was not a consumable item. It would only flow from one party to another. The base price of the fire dragon fruit is 100,000 low-rank soul stones. Each increment should be no less than 10,000 low-rank soul stones. Friends who are interested, please bid. The auctioneer said with passion. 110,000, 130,000, 150,000. Almost as soon as the auctioneer spoke, the price had increased by 50,000. Yi Chen rarely made his bid earlier, so he bid 200,000. Young master, this brat is a powerful competitor for you. The ghost head said to the teenager. The teenager sneered. He had spent 150 million gold before, which must have included low-rank soul stones. I do not believe that he would be able to compete with me. This time, he had brought 350,000 low-rank soul stones, all for the fire dragon fruit. The sword-shaped plant was just an accident. Plus, he did not bid as hard as he could. 30 million gold was the limit that he had in mind, and the rest of the low-rank soul stones were for the fire dragon fruit. 220,000. The teenager bid. Damn it, I will risk it. I had only reached late clasping yuan realm 3 months ago. Without any surprises, it would take me at least 2 to 3 years to reach the peak level. In the crowd, a low-profile late clasping yuan realm warrior raised up his hand and yelled, 250,000. Damn, I will give up. I will just train slowly. That's right. 250,000 low-rank soul stones is way too shocking. All of the people who participated in the bidding sat down dejectedly. They were both glad and regretful. They were glad that they had managed to keep their wealth, but regretful that they had missed the chance to get the fire dragon fruit. 280,000. Yichen continued to bid. Be careful not to get robbed, Guolan said in a depressed tone. Yichen laughed. I'm almost at my limit. I can only use 200,000 low-rank soul stones anyway. I will have to explain to the management of the Moon Pavilion after this. But as long as you join us, everything will be fine. Then I hope the price of the fire dragon fruit will go beyond my limit. A cold light flashed through the teenager's eyes as he said with a low voice, 300,000. As he finished speaking, besides Yichun, no one else bid. 300,000 low-rank soul stones would be worth more than 100 million gold in the gold tripod city auction. Outside, it would be 120 to 30 million gold. Of course, it was easy to exchange soul stones for gold, but it would be very hard to exchange gold for soul stones. Normally, there would only be a small amount of exchange, and not a large amount of exchange. Therefore, for most of the rich clasping Yuan realm warriors, 300,000 was a horrifying number. 320,000. Yichen would not give up on the fire dragon fruit. 350,000. The teenager's face was extremely dark. 360,000. It would not be like the gold, where it would be 10 or 20 million. Yichen did not dare to be too reckless. Sitting heavily on the leather chair, the teenager gave up on bidding. The ghost head said strangely, Young master, I still have more than 100,000 low-rank soul stones. No need. I was planning to buy the fire dragon fruit with 350,000 low-rank soul stones. But since he did not give me face, then don't blame me for being cruel. He was different from that astral reaching realm sword artist. Since he could not compete with the wealth, then he would compete with the power. He wanted the other party to pay back the cost with interest. The auctioneer was a bit disappointed. He thought that the fire dragon fruit would be able to create another record, but it seemed like it would not be possible anymore. But 360,000 soul stones had already satisfied him. In the past, the final price of the fire dragon fruit would be around 300,000 soul stones. Sometimes, it would be less than 400,000 soul stones. 360,000 going once, 360,000 going twice, 360,000 going thrice. Congratulations again, the friend in the number 7 VIP room, the auctioneer said. For the second part of the auction, the fire dragon fruit was obviously not the most valuable item. In fact, the fire dragon fruit could not even make it into the top 5. The fifth last item was a high-rank Earth Realm Martial Skill Manual, Sky Splitting Claw, which was bought by an astral-reaching realm warrior for 38,000 mid-rank soul stones. The fourth last item was a whole bottle of healing medicine, which could cure astral-reaching realm warriors' wounds extremely fast. In the end, it was bought by the Black Crow Man for 40,000 mid-rank soul stones. The last 3 items were even more impressive. They were a mid-rank great weapon, a high-rank Earth Realm martial art manual, and a holy medicine that could have a 30% chance of reaching the astral reaching realm. The mid-rank great weapon was a blue stick, and its final price was 42,000 mid-rank soul stones. The high-rank Earth Realm martial art manual was 60,000 mid-rank soul stones. The holy medicine that could have a 30% chance of reaching the astral reaching realm once again fell into the hands of the Black Crow Man. Its price had reached an astonishing 80,000 mid-rank soul stones, which could be exchanged for 4 million low-rank soul stones in the market, or 1,600 million gold. Everyone in the audience was shocked. Even Yichun had to admit that he was not as powerful as the Black Crow Man. The Black Crow Man is an inner master of the rank 6 martial institution, the Sky Flying Devil Martial School. His wealth is not something that some of the astral-reaching realm warriors who like to travel alone could compare with. This is the benefit of being a member of a powerful martial institution. Yichun shook his head and stood up, preparing to leave. Chapter 2:16. Guolan said seriously that astral-reaching realm sword artist might be easy to talk to, but not the others. Most importantly, the gold tripod city is not the martial city. I'm afraid that once you go out, you'll be stopped by people. If you do not mind, you can come to our branch of the Moon Pavilion for a while. I believe those people would not dare to do anything in our branch. Even I do not know how deep the Moon Pavilion's power is. Those rank 7 martial school leaders would still be polite to our leader. Thank you. Besides the sword-shaped plant, Yi-Chen did not think that there would be any astral-reaching realm warriors who would want to attack him. Even if they were at peak level late clasping Yuan realm, he would still be able to fight with them for a while. In the worst-case scenario, he could just run away. With his separating shadow flying art, it should not be too hard for him to run away. But if he could use the fire dragon fruit and the sword-shaped plant before he ran away, it would obviously be more confident. Young master, he is out. At the exit of the auction, the ghost head stood right next to the teenager like a ghost. If one did not pay attention, it would be very easy to ignore him. The teenager nodded. This is the auction house. Don't do anything yet. Let's go out first. Outside of the auction house was a huge plaza. In the middle of the plaza, there was a 27 meters tall statue with a bronze color. According to the rumors, this was the founder of the Gold Tripod City Auction House, and the current owner of the auction house was his descendant. Yi-Chen and Guo Lanhua walked side by side, while the 4th and 6th knight followed on the side. The 4 of them left the auction house and appeared on the plaza. Just as Guo Lanhua had expected, there was indeed someone blocking their way. Seeing the 4th knight behind Yi-Chen, the teenager was a bit scared, but thinking about the ghost head behind him, he did not hesitate anymore. He said lightly, "Friend, you are quite rich, which I admire. However, the sword-shaped plant and the fire dragon fruit are very useful to me. I wonder if I can sell them?" Yi-Chen glanced at the ghost head. This man had given him a lot of pressure. He should be a peak level late clasping Yuan realm warrior, and not just a normal peak level late clasping Yuan realm warrior. As for what the teenager had said, Yi-Chen laughed in his mind. He said, "I have spent 150 million gold on the 3 sword-shaped plants, and 1 fire dragon fruit is 360,000 low-rank soul stones. How much are you prepared to pay?" The young man's face sank slightly, but he still put on a smile and said, "I don't have so much gold and spirit stones at the moment. How about this? I'll pay you 10 million gold and 100,000 low-grade spirit stones first. I'll owe you the rest first. When I have enough money, I'll pay you back double." "Sorry, no credit allowed. Since you do not have money, there is nothing." Ghost Elder's gloomy voice came over. "Little brother, this is not how you should behave. My young master has already given you a lot of face." Right then, Guo Lanhua took a step forward. "He is a friend of our Moon Pavilion. You two please step aside." Canvas Moon Pavilion. The young man and elder ghost's expressions changed slightly. Turning his eyes back to Yi-Chen, the young man's eyes were as sharp as knives. He said word by word, "When you are outside, it is always better to have one more friend than one more enemy. I only want 2 sword-shaped plants and half of the dragon fruit. The price is still the same as before. What do you think?" The last 2 words, the young man had a hint of coldness hidden in his eyes. He stared at Yi-Chen without blinking. "If it were you, would you agree?" Yi-Chen's expression was the same as usual, and there was a faint smile on his face. However, there was an even deeper killing intent hidden in the depths of his eyes. Today, this enmity had been formed. If he didn't kill them, others would definitely kill him. So, as long as there was a chance, he didn't mind killing these 2 people. "Very good. Remember to be careful when you go out. Don't fall." After saying that, the young man and the spectral elder left. On the street, "Young master, what do you plan to do?" Ghost Elder used his Zhun Qi to transmit his voice. "Of course, I will kill him," the young man said coldly. The spectral elder nodded. "The Gold Tripod City is too big. We'll have to gather a lot of people and block all the routes. Wait until he is separated from the people from the Moon Pavilion, then we will make our move. Spectral Elder, just in case, you will need to bring a few more members from the Ghost Hall. I do not want any accidents to happen." "Sure." Before the first wave was over, another wave came. Yi-Chen was just about to go to the branch of the Moon Pavilion to sit down when 2 middle-aged men with immeasurable chi walked over. On the left was a square-faced, middle-aged man with a straight back, wearing a long blue robe. Next to him was a ferocious-looking man with a bare chest. His face was full of muscles, and there was a heavy, evil chi in the corner of his eyes. With just one look, one could tell that he was someone who had killed countless people. One was righteous and the other evil. Their auras were very contradictory, but if you observe them carefully, they seemed to be in harmony. Not to mention their auras, both of them were real, astral, reaching realm warriors. Guolanyue swallowed her saliva. The square-faced, middle-aged man, who was the astral-reaching realm sword artist, was very easy to talk to. She had never heard of him killing innocent people. As for the ferocious-looking man, he was definitely not a kind person. She wondered why they were looking for Yi-chun. Was it because of the sword-shaped plant? Brat, my friend wants to buy one of your sword-shaped plants. Do you have any problem with that? The ferocious-looking man went straight to the point. Yi-chun observed the man's expression and said calmly, "One sword-shaped plant. We can talk about it." The ferocious-looking man was about to say something, but the square-faced man stopped him and said apologetically, "My friend here is a bit rude. I hope you don't mind him. Also, I only want one sword-shaped plant, and the price is 200,000 low-rank soul stones. Of course, if you don't want to sell it, I will not force you. You don't have to worry about it." 200,000 low-rank soul stones? To be honest, Yi-chun was a bit shocked. 200,000 low-rank soul stones would be 80 million gold, which was way more than what he had paid for one sword-shaped plant. He thought they would only offer 50,000 low-rank soul stones at most, or even less. But the situation was not in his favor. Even if they only offered 10,000 low-rank soul stones, he would still have to sell it. What? You think it is too little? I only have this many low-rank soul stones with me. How about 1,000 mid-rank soul stones? The square-faced man saw Yi-chun's expression change, so he said. Yi-chun shook his head. Even 200,000 is too much. I thought you would not pay this much. The square-faced man laughed. Originally, without my participation, the final price of the 3 sword-shaped plants would not be more than 30 to 40 million gold. Speaking of which, it is still your loss. Without saying anything, Yi-chun took out a sword-shaped plant from his storage ring and handed it over to the man. This storage ring is for you. The square-faced man threw the low-rank storage ring with the low-rank soul stones directly into Yi-chun's hand. Yi-chun did not even look at it before throwing it into his own storage ring. The square-faced man was planning to leave, but he noticed Yi-chun's action. He paused a bit, then said with a bright voice, "Young man, my name is Song Yin. What is your name?" "Senior Song. My name is Yi-chun." "Yi-chun, good name. I will remember you." After Song Yin and the evil-looking man left, Guolanyue wiped the sweat off her forehead and said to Yi-chun, "You did well. A real man knows when to give and when to give. I thought you would not sell it." Yi-chun said, "People live to survive. As long as they have not completely lost their dignity, I believe every rational person would do the same." Hearing him, the 4th knight and the 6th knight seemed to be thinking about something. The moon pavilion took up a huge space. There were more than 20 yards, a couple of halls, and a huge palace. Entering it, Yi-chun found a lot of people who were younger than him training, sweating profusely. There were also some clasping Yuan realm warriors giving them lessons. The content was all different, not all about martial arts. However, in Yi-chun's ears, it sounded different. A lot of these lessons were about how to behave. In Yi-chun's eyes, only by knowing how to behave would one be able to succeed. Every year, the Moon Pavilion would take in a lot of young people with potential. Among them, the top ones would be sent to the headquarters to take the test. Those who passed the test would become the backup members of the 7 Knights. Those who failed the test would also become the focus of the Moon Pavilion. Guolanyue explained to Yi-chun as they walked. Yi-chun went silent. He had not seen the headquarters of the Moon Pavilion, but just a single branch had allowed him to see a lot of things. One branch was not scary, but hundreds and thousands of branches combined would not be that scary. It was not hard to imagine that with this kind of strict system, the Moon Pavilion would be able to train a huge amount of martial geniuses that were no weaker than the martial institutions, providing more excellent blood for the organization. From a certain aspect, the system of the Moon Pavilion was more perfect and excellent than the martial institutions. But of course, there were advantages and disadvantages. Compared to the martial institutions, the power of the Moon Pavilion was undoubtedly scattered, which made it easy to be taken down one by one. Unless the power of the Moon Pavilion was strong enough, the enemies would not dare to attack easily. You can stay in this yard for now. It has been cleaned already. In front of a delicate yard, Guolanyu stopped. Yichen said, "Thank you." "Hee, no need to thank me. I am just trying to attract you to join the Moon Pavilion." Guolanyu chuckled. Yichen said seriously, "Wait until I get to know more about the Moon Pavilion. If I am interested in it, then maybe I will join." "Oh, is that so?" Guolanyu's eyes brightened. The night slowly arrived, and the moonlight was like water. Inside the clean bedroom, Yichen sat on the bed with his legs crossed. He touched his storage ring with his finger, and a longan-sized red fruit appeared in Yichen's hand. The fruit was crystal clear, and there were tiny patterns on its surface. If observed carefully, one could see that the patterns were not messy at all. Instead, they were spread out in lines. At first glance, it looked like a dragon pattern made up of simple lines, which was quite mysterious. Without hesitation, Yichen picked up the dragon fruit and shoved it into his mouth. Gulp! Yichen bit through the skin, and the dragon fruit melted in his mouth. It turned into liquid and was swallowed whole. All of a sudden, a gentle qi spread out in his body. Yichen understood that it should be the spirit qi that the auctioneer had mentioned, which was no weaker than Jin Qi. Activating his mysterious great art, Yichen closed his eyes. Almost every time he completed a full circle, Yichen's cultivation would increase by another level. There was no blockage during the whole process, and it was just natural. The 360th full circle had been completed. Whew! A wave of transparent patterns spread out from Yichen's body. The window not far away started to make a loud noise, and the wooden table beside the bed had been pushed out a couple of meters by the qi flow. Opening his eyes, Yichen slowly let out a breath. Turning the spirit qi into Zhen qi was much easier than I thought. I thought it would take a couple of times longer. Within a couple of hours, Yichen's cultivation had improved drastically. He had reached the peak level mid-clasping Yuan realm from the mid-clasping Yuan realm, and his Zhen qi had increased by more than 30%. Chapter 217. Separate. Yichen suddenly slapped on the bed, and his body floated into the air. In the air, his body shook once, and a couple of shadows shot out like lightning, circling around the room for a couple of times before merging back into his body. Because of the extreme speed, it gave people a feeling that they were dancing around. Landing on the ground, Yichen mumbled to himself, "As my cultivation has increased, my separating shadow flying art has reached its peak. Unfortunately, I still need some time to reach the second realm of the flow Rudra 3 mysterious spell. Otherwise, I would be able to increase my separating shadow flying art to the high rank Earth realm. Once my flying art reaches the high rank, I would be so fast that I would be able to fight against peak level late clasping Yuan realm warriors." Yichen was very clear that he would not be able to win against the Wind Wolf at its peak. After all, that lone peak kill combined with the one sword attack was not something that he could easily perform. Without that sword attack, the chance of him winning against the Wind Wolf would be less than 10%. Since he could not increase his attacking power in a short period of time, then improving his flying art would be the best choice. Once his separating shadow, flying art, reached the high-rank Earth realm, people who were more powerful than him would not be able to catch up with him easily, and killing him would be even more difficult. I wonder what the other two sword-shaped plants would bring me. After thinking for a while, Yichen took out a sword-shaped plant from his storage ring. The plant only had one leaf, which was about 3 feet long. It was narrow and sharp, with a sword ridge in the middle and a triangular tip. Holding the root of the plant, Yichen felt like he was holding a magical great sword. The sword intent seemed to be ready to burst out and kill everything in the world. What an aggressive sword intent. Being caught off guard, Yichen was immediately affected by the sword intent contained in the plant. His blood started to boil. If it were a normal warrior with a weaker mind, under the influence of this sword intent, he would probably take the plant out to kill people without being able to control himself. Putting away the plant, Yichen sighed. It was only a bit of sword intent, and it was already so magical. The power of the Battle King back in the day was unimaginable. It was already late at night. Yichen took off his jacket and light armor, keeping a part of his consciousness to go to sleep. For a couple of days in a row, Yichen had been studying the three-flow Rudra spell. As for improving his sword intent, it was not part of Yichen's plan. He had only improved his sword intent to around 50% a couple of days ago. Right now, even if he had the sword-shaped plant and the Battle King's sword, it would not be possible for him to improve it again. Plus, there was only one stream of sword intent in the sword-shaped plant. Once it left the plant, it would not exist for long. After a few more days, Yichen gradually made some progress. On this day, Yichen and Fourth Knight began to fight in the training grounds of the Canvas Moon Pavilion. The Fourth Knight only wanted to have a small battle with Yichen, and it was not necessary to have a winner. Plus, Yichen had indeed been quite bored these past few days. Instead of training hard, it would be more fun to have a battle with each other. After knowing the news, Guolanyu hoped that the two could have a battle in the training field for all the young people in the branch to watch. Yichen's weapon was a low-rank great weapon, the Star Scar sword, while Fourth Knight's weapon was a low-rank great weapon, the hideous fist art. Because of the terrain, the two did not perform any extremely destructive attacks. They were purely competing on their own sword arts and fist arts. The Star Scar sword shook, shooting out starlight all over the sky. Each dot of starlight was extremely condensed, flashing once before disappearing. Being at the source of the starlight, Yichen's footwork was unpredictable. His movements were unpredictable and unpredictable. He kept interrupting his own rhythm, using it to affect his opponent's rhythm. Judging on battling power, Fourth Knight was not that much weaker than Yichen. Her fist art carried an unstoppable power. It looked like she could beat 10 people with her power alone. Of course, beating 10 people with her power alone was not some basic skill. Every punch she threw out was aimed at the weakest spot of the starlight. As her fist power landed, a huge amount of starlight was shattered. The fist power was like a spiral tornado, attacking towards Yichen. Dodging through the attacking range of the fist power, Yichen's sword aura changed. The starlight turned into flowing clouds. Sometimes it was slow, and sometimes it was violent. Sometimes it was like thunder exploding, and sometimes it was like a storm. He had performed the mentality of the sky cloud sword art to its peak. Before, dealing with Yichen's sword art was already very hard. Right now, with the change of the sword aura, Fourth Knight felt like she could not handle it anymore. Her whole body seemed to have sunk into a sky full of flowing clouds. No matter how powerful her fist power was, it could only make the clouds disappear a little bit. Then, more and more clouds would come over, covering the whole sky. Misty sword. The ocean of clouds was rolling, and a sword appeared out of nowhere. Ting! With her years of battling experience, Fourth Knight barely managed to block out that sword attack. Impermanence sword. The clouds were unpredictable. Once this sword attack was thrown out, the sword aura became more and more intense. It was aimed at all of Fourth Knight's flaws, as if every single flaw would be attacked. Shoo! The clothes on her arm had been torn apart by the sword light, but Fourth Knight still did not move. This guy is so powerful. Even Fourth Knight has lost. Fourth Knight is also very powerful. Just then, that fist aura had even stopped me from breathing. 7 Knights are the 7 most powerful warriors in our Moon Pavilion. They are our targets. One day, I will become one of them. Most of the young people in the branch were younger than Yichen. They had never seen the top young warriors battling before. Their blood was boiling, and they were all excited. Guolanyu saw that her goal had been achieved, so she taught them a lesson. There is always someone better than you. If you want to succeed, you have to set your sights bigger. Being the top warrior in the branch is nothing. There are so many geniuses out there. As long as you're willing to work hard, one day, you will be able to reach their level. After teaching them a lesson, Guolanyu let them go back to their own places. Those who needed to train would go back to training, and those who needed to go out to do missions. It was just like a small martial institution. You lost, not because of your battling power, but because of your skills. Fourth Knight frowned his pretty eyebrows as he looked at Yi-chan. Yi-chan said, "What's wrong? You don't look that old, but why do you look like you have been studying sword arts for decades? I have fought with Second Knight and Third Knight before, and their skills were almost the same as mine. I have never fought with First Knight before, but there is no way he would be able to reach your level." Yi-chan knew what she was talking about. He thought for a while and said, "Martial arts are for warriors. It is not something that can be used to its peak. Although your fist art is powerful and your skills are powerful, it has not reached the level where you can use it as you wish. It is because you're restricted by the fist art itself. You have to know that no matter how powerful a fist art is, it is still created by someone else, and it might not be suitable for you. Then I need to create my own fist art." Fourth Knight did not understand what Yi-chan was trying to say. Yi-chan shook his head. "No, it is still too early to create a martial art. What I want to say is that a battle should have its own style, and a martial art should have its own style as well. The first step is to turn other people's things into your own and get rid of the parts that are not suitable for you." With such an explanation, Guolanyue understood immediately. Both Guolanyue and Sixth Knight were shocked. Yi-chan was only 17 years old, so where did he come up with such a profound theory? After thinking for a while, Fourth Knight had more or less learned something. He could not help but say, "Speaking of which, I really want to see you fight with Second Knight. Her Sky Demon power field is like a turtle shell, and no matter how hard you try to break it, I wonder if you could do something about it with your skills." Sky Demon power field. She is a disciple of the Sky Demon martial school? Guolanyue smiled. Second Knight is the second disciple of the Sky Demon martial school, Morong Qingsheng. Her Sky Demon power field is indeed mysterious, and it can ignore all kinds of skills. However, the Sky Demon palm print can break all kinds of skills. Just like what Fourth Knight said, it would be interesting for you two to fight. Morong Qingsheng was actually the Second Knight of the Moon Pavilion. Yi-chan froze for a second, then shook his head. His opponent was indeed very powerful. Her Sky Demon power field could twist all kinds of attacks, which gave her the upper hand. Plus that aggressive Sky Demon palm print, one attacking and one defending, it would be extremely hard to deal with. Judging from this, she was ranked 27th in the last Hidden Dragon rank competition, which was obviously not enough. She should be in the top 15. After a month, the Fourth Knight and the Sixth Knight had already returned to the headquarters. Under Guolanyue's persuasion, Yi-chan left the Gold Tripod City. In the sparse forest outside of the Gold Tripod City, the sun was shining brightly. Crack! Crack! Walking on the small road that was covered with fallen leaves, Yi-chan quietly released his soul power. Everything within a 1,000-meter radius was under his control. At the condensing reality realm, warriors would be able to spread out their Zhenqi and combine it with their mental power to sense the surroundings. After reaching the clasping Yuan realm, this range would be expanded even further. Basically, they would be able to sense everything within a few hundred meters radius. However, when traveling in a martial world, most of the people had trained some martial arts that could hide their Zhenqi or Zhenqi vibration, which made it very hard to detect. If they ran into some powerful warriors, they would not even be able to tell if they were right behind their backs. However, Yi-chan's soul power was different. No matter how powerful your attacks were, under the scanning of his soul power, everything would be seen clearly. Even if you were to go invisible, it would not work unless you disappeared from this space and reappeared from another space. Only then would you be able to avoid being scanned by his soul power. Obviously, facing someone with this kind of power, Yi-chan did not need to run anymore. After all, he had never heard of a power that could travel through space. Running would be pointless. According to Yi-chan's understanding, soul power was a very high-end existence. It was not just 1.5 times more powerful than the so-called mental power. It would be at least 10 times more powerful. 500 meters to the right, behind me, there is an enemy on the big tree. Without stopping, Yi-chan sneered. His body suddenly split into two. One continued to walk, while the other sneaked into the deep part of the forest. If it was not for direct observation, no one would know that Yi-chan had already escaped. The low-rank Earth Realm martial art, the Qi hiding spell that he got from the Bloody Butcher, started to work. He had trained it to the peak of the upper realm a long time ago. Not only could he hide his cultivation level, he could also hide his own Zhun Qi and Qi vibration easily. It was way more powerful than the martial arts in the world. 500 meters away, a middle-aged man in black stood on top of a big tree. He closed his eyes from time to time to sense something. Soon he smiled. His opponent was still in control. Without any sound, a faint shadow appeared behind him. Swoosh! A cold light flashed, and a bloody line appeared on the middle-aged man's neck. His head slowly slid down, blood splashing everywhere. Putting his sword back into its scabbard, Yichen took out a jade bottle from his storage ring. He unplugged the bottle and sprinkled some white powder on the blood, covering the smell of blood. After doing all this, Yichen took off the middle-aged man's storage ring and put it away. He thought to himself, this man is a senior late clasping Yuan realm martial artist. If I were to fight him face to face, it would take me at least a couple of attacks to kill him. Unfortunately, he ran into me. In a complicated environment, even the most powerful peak-level late clasping Yuan realm martial artist would not be able to take one sword attack from me. As for killing an astral-reaching realm martial artist, I don't have much confidence yet. A gust of wind blew over, and Yi Chun disappeared. Chapter 218. On the other side, two men in black were communicating with each other through Zhun Qi from 50 meters away. Gui Lu, what do you think the young master and the ghost head are thinking? Isn't it just a clasping Yuan realm brat? Do they really need to call us here? The muscular man in black was not happy at all. He had finally been able to relax for a couple of days and play with women, but now he had to deal with this. He was not happy at all. The skinny man in black said, Gui Jio, the young master said that if we kill that brat, each of us will get 30,000 low-rank soul stones. Don't be too greedy. If it were not for those 30,000 low-rank soul stones, I would not even be willing to come. All right, why don't the two of us just attack and kill that brat? Do you want to die? If you ruin the young master's plan, he will definitely skin you alive. Just kidding. All right, why is the ghost head not here yet? Sure, he is here. Stop your Zhun Qi communication, in case he notices your Zhun Qi vibration. Hearing that, the man in black closed his eyes and infused his true Qi into the air. Together with his mental power, he spread it out. Gradually, he could see everything within a radius of a few hundred meters. A young man in blue was walking towards him at a steady pace. From time to time, he would look around cautiously. Today will be the day you die. The man in black laughed viciously. Swoosh! The man's face froze. The head of the man in black slid down and was caught by a hand, which then gently put it on the ground. Soon, some white powder was sprinkled on the ground, covering the smell of blood. I did not expect that I would be so valued. The people watching and ambushing are all old late clasping Yuan realm warriors. Locking his soul power on the skinny man in black 50 meters away, Yi Chen's body flashed and disappeared. The skinny man in black looked a bit anxious. They had been waiting here for a long time. According to the plan, they would only attack when the ghost head and the young master arrived. However, they were about to leave the ambush, and there was still no sign of the ghost head and the young master. Did something happen to them? Whatever, let's wait a bit longer. Something is wrong. This is not the real body. The skinny man in black seemed to have noticed something. His lips moved slightly, trying to send a Zhun Qi message to the man in black. Unfortunately, he did not have the chance anymore. An extremely sharp great sword had pierced through his neck, stopping his voice there. Very good. Let's wait here for our prey to appear. Outside, Yi Chun might be afraid of the stiff-faced old man, but inside the forest, the old man was just his prey. Thousands of meters away. Young master, Gui Wu is an expert in stealth. With him following us, we'll be safe. Plus, there's also Gui Lu and Gui Jio waiting to ambush us. That kid won't be able to escape, even if he has wings. The ghost head walked silently behind the young man. The young man said, after this is done, Gui Wu, Gui Lu, and Gui Jio will each get 30,000 low-rank soul stones. The rest is yours, and I only want the sword-shaped plant and the fire dragon fruit. Many thanks, young master. The ghost head looked very happy. At his age, it was almost impossible for him to break through to the astral reaching realm. Therefore, he did not want to let go of any opportunity to increase his battling power. And those treasures that could increase one's battling power, which one of them did not require a huge amount of spirit stones. The two of them were extremely fast. It only took them a dozen breaths to cover the distance of several thousand meters. Strange, why hasn't Gui Wu appeared yet? The ghost head looked confused. Before this, they had made a plan. Gui Wu would follow Yi Chun, while the other two would set up an ambush in front of them. Then, once they arrived, they would attack Yi Chun as fast as they could. Right now, they had already reached the deep part of the forest, and Gui Wu should have shown up as well. The young man said, "The powerful warriors from the Moon Pavilion stopped us in the Gold Tripod City on purpose. They were probably trying to buy time for him." "Huh, let's catch up." "Yeah." The ghost head nodded. They could have arrived earlier, but because of that incident, they were delayed for a while. So, he did not suspect anything as he followed behind the young man. Swoosh! The sword light flashed once before disappearing. The young man's running body paused for a second, then slid down due to the inertia. A head flew up into the sky. Because the sword light was too fast and too sudden, the ghost head did not even have the time to react. No. The next second, the ghost head's face turned hideous, his eyes filled with blood. On top of the tree, Yi Chun jumped towards the ghost head. He shook the star scar sword in his hand, and the sword light disappeared. Circles of vague patterns appeared in the air. Killing attack, lone peak kill. Under that extremely fast sword aura, the ghost head did not have the strength to do anything. He could only watch the sword getting bigger and bigger in front of his eyes, stabbing towards his forehead. Shoo! Blood spilled everywhere as the ghost head rolled to the side. Looking at the stiff ears on the ground, Yi Chun sighed secretly. He was indeed a top peak level late, clasping unravel warrior. His mind and reflexes were all top-notch, and his battling experience was extremely rich as well. He was able to control his body at that critical moment and avoid that deadly sword attack. Die! The death of the young man had made the ghost head furious. His body was still rolling, but his right hand had already reached out, grabbing towards Yi Chun from a huge distance. Crack! Yi Chun's body was torn apart along with the ground under his feet. The curved chi power did not disappear completely, cutting the big tree behind him into pieces as well. Within the flying leaves, a human figure suddenly shot out. How is this possible? The ghost head was shocked. Although that claw attack was a bit rushed, even a peak-level late clasping Yuan Realm Warrior would not be able to escape unscathed. Plus, he had clearly seen Yi Chun being torn apart by that claw power. Actually, he could not be blamed for being shocked. When he and the young man arrived at the Gold Tripod City, the beast wave had already ended. So, he had not seen Yi Chun perform his separating shadow art. Purple zombie demon art. Yi Chun's sword art was way too sharp, and the ghost head was not confident that he could escape unscathed. So, he decided not to back out, and instead he performed his most powerful defensive martial art. Then, he opened his right hand into a claw, tearing through the air. He wanted to trade wounds with Yi Chun. He was confident that under this attack, Yi Chun would definitely be wounded more severely than him. Crack! The sword stabbed right into the ghost head's heart. Yi Chun was alerted, and his body suddenly exploded, turning into dozens of shadows. However, the ghost head's full power claw attack had only torn apart dozens of shadows. Such a powerful Zhen Qi layer and physical body. Yi Chun frowned. In his sight, the ghost head's skin had an intense purple color, like metal and hardwood. There was a sword hole on his heart, which was less than an inch deep. There was no blood coming out, and it did not look like a human's body, but more like a zombie's body. Yi Chun was shocked, and the ghost head was even more shocked. Among all the martial arts that he had trained, the most powerful one was the body-training martial art, the purple zombie demon art. It was a mid-rank Earth realm martial art, and had 11 levels in total. Once he reached the 11th level, warriors at the same level would basically not be able to break through his defense, and his skin would turn purple. Of course, he had not trained it to the 11th level yet. He had only reached the peak of the 10th level, and his skin had a hint of purple in it. The peak of the 10th level of the purple zombie demon art had been stabbed 3 inches into his body, and it had almost wounded his heart. How could the ghost head not be shocked? The scariest thing was that Yi Chun had sensed the danger and backed out in advance. In other words, if he had the chance, the sword would have pierced through his heart. I cannot give him the chance. The ghost head touched the wound with his hand, and the sword hole was slowly healing. This old man is not that easy to deal with. Before, he was not fully prepared for the 2 sword attacks. If I attack recklessly now, I am afraid it will not be that effective. Seeing that the ghost head was fully prepared and did not show any flaws, Yi Chun flashed his body without hesitation and disappeared into the deep part of the forest. He ran away. The ghost head felt annoyed, as if he had just punched the air. Glancing at the young man's body that had been separated from his body, the annoyed feeling was getting more and more intense. He could not imagine how furious his master would be when he found out about the death of the young man. He might even kill him with one palm attack. Even if he had trained his purple zombie demon art to the peak of the 11th level, he would still be nothing but an ant in front of his master. He would not have any chance to fight back. This is not a good place to stay. I should leave as soon as possible. The ghost head had a feeling that Yi Chun would not give up on killing him that easily. In the forest, Yi Chun would appear and disappear like a ghost, and it would be impossible to guard against him. The ghost head would not even be able to use 80% of his power. Only when he got out of the forest would he have the chance to kill him with one attack. Shoo! His feet touched the ground. The ghost head did not have time to bring back the young man's body. He flew towards where he came from. Boom! After flying for dozens of meters, the ghost head's body was blown back into the air and landed back where he was standing. A few leaves fell down. Yi Chun was standing on top of a tree. If he did not look with his eyes, he would not be able to tell that there was anyone there. He would only think that it was just air. Putting down his right hand, Yi Chun thought to himself, the power of the void-shattering finger art is still not that great. But in terms of Zhen Qi breaking, it is still more powerful than the Lone Peak kill. The finger power was silent and undetectable. Returning to where he was standing, the ghost head's eyes popped out as if he was going to puke out blood. This is too much. Little brat, do not ever fall into my hands. Otherwise, I will make you beg for death. I will make you suffer all kinds of pain in the world. Before his anger disappeared, the ghost head threw out a claw attack onto the huge tree next to him. Boom! The huge tree was snapped in half, creating a shocking sound. Time passed slowly, and the sky started to darken. I'm so pissed off. I would like to see how you are going to kill me. Before, the ghost head had tried countless times, but each time, he would be beaten back by Yi Chun. He did not even know where his opponent was. If it were not for his strong mind, he would have gone crazy already. Performing the hiding chi spell, Yi Chun quietly disappeared into the night. Who? There was no air-tearing sound, only a light pattern in the air. Without thinking, the ghost head turned around and threw out a claw attack. Crack! Crack! All of a sudden, countless trees had been broken down, clearing out a huge space. In the night, Yi Chun was not in a hurry. He kept creating illusions, using Zhen Qi shadows to confuse his opponent, creating an opportunity for his real body. He had to admit that the ghost head was the toughest opponent he had ever faced. Not only was his defense extremely high, but his attacks were also extremely powerful. Otherwise, he would not have lasted this long. A pair of eyes shone with a light purple light as the ghost head's breathing gradually calmed down. His mind was highly focused as he tried to sense every movement around him. Right now, he had already lost hope in Ghost 5, Ghost 6, and Ghost 9. Without any surprises, the 3 would be just like his young master, all dead under his opponent's assassination. I have been through all kinds of tough battles. You want to kill me? In your dreams. As the leader of the Ghost Hall, the Ghost Head was famous for his assassination skills. After calming down, he had actually gotten used to Yi Chun's fighting style. He wanted to see who would be the first one to fall. Chapter 219. As the night deepened, the moon quietly hid behind the lotus clouds. Dozens of miles away, the gold tripod city was full of people and lights. However, the forest was quiet, and the atmosphere was depressing. Without a sound, the cold light suddenly exploded. "Get lost!" the ghost head yelled. His skinny palm tore out a few purple claw energies. The claw energies were aggressive and sharp, clashing with the cold light. Chi! After leaving a sword mark on the Ghost Lord's arm, Yi Chen's body flashed and disappeared into the night. It seems like I have overestimated myself, after all. I thought I could threaten astral-reaching realm warriors in a complicated environment. But now, it seems like I can't even kill a peak-level late clasping Yuan realm warrior who knows how to assassinate with one attack. It would be even more difficult for me to deal with an astral-reaching realm warrior. As long as I miss one attack, the astral-reaching realm warrior would be able to kill me 10 times over. Yi-chan was very clear about the horrifying power of astral-reaching realm warriors. If the opponent did not put up his protective Jin Yuan layer, he might still have a chance. But if he did, then there would be no chance at all, since the quality of a Jin Yuan was not something Jin Qi could compete with. Like a ghost, he moved around Senior Ghost without making any sound. Yi-chan rolled his eyes, raised his right hand, and pointed at the air. Bang! In the distance, the Ghost Elder felt like he was struck by lightning. His feet left the ground and crashed into a big tree. The big tree collapsed with a loud bang, and the leaves flew everywhere. Good chance. Hiding the star scar sword in its scabbard, Yi-chen's body flashed, creating 4 Jin Qi shadows. The 4 Jin Qi shadows ran along with his real body. The difference was that his real body did not expose any Qi, while the Jin Qi vibration coming from the Jin Qi shadows were like luminous pearls in the dark night, extremely eye-catching. 4. Which one, or none of them? The power of the void-shattering finger art was too weak, so the ghost head, who had cultivated the purple zombie demonic art, was not affected at all. He stood up in shock, not knowing what Yi-chan was doing. I don't care anymore. I'll kill them all together. With a roar, an intense cyan light appeared on the ghost's body. Both of his hands cooperated with each other, and countless claw energies spread out, turning into an inescapable net. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. The Jin Qi shadow was cut into pieces, dissipating into the purest energy. Xiao! The threatening sword light came from behind the ghost head. I've been waiting for you for a long time. The ghost head laughed. He twisted his body and spun in a spiral shape, shooting out several claw energies. With a bang, the sound of weapons breaking rang out. The ghost head knew that the weapon in Yi-chen's hand was clearly a low-rank weapon. How could it be broken in one attack? It should be known that even astral-reaching realm warriors would have a hard time destroying low-rank weapons. Rest in peace. In front of him, Yi-chan held the Star Scar sword and pierced through the ghost head's body. It turned out that the second his Jin Qi shadow had been destroyed, he had created another Jin Qi shadow and made it hold the normal great sword, the Dragon Spring Sword. Taking advantage of the chaos, Yi-chan had gotten behind the ghost head and created the most realistic illusion of an attack. His real body was still in front of the ghost head, giving him a lightning attack. Everything was perfect, and it had worked. I can't accept this. Beast transformation. The ghost head's eyes turned red all of a sudden. He pushed his purple zombie demon art to its limit. Jin Qi traveled along the Star Scar sword, then started to vibrate violently before exploding and leaking out. It's a secret martial art. Yi-chen's expression changed drastically. His palm almost dropped the Star Scar sword. Soon, that vibrating, exploding power exploded out and landed on his chest. Pulling out the sword, Yi-chan puked out a mouthful of blood and was blown away. Dying! His red eyes dragged out 2 beams of light in the dark night. The ghost head appeared in front of Yi-chan within a second. His palm, no, it was his beast claw that reached down, tearing apart Yi-chen's protective Jin Qi layer. Shadow explosion. The extreme danger had made Yi-chan extremely calm. His body shook once, and his real body left the protective Jin Qi layer, avoiding the ghost head's attack. The Jinchi shadow that he had left behind had been torn apart. The ghost head opened his mouth and roared at Yi Chun, letting out a lump of condensed sound wave. Break! Yi Chun pointed out his right index finger in the air, hitting the sound wave right in the middle. The sound wave twisted violently and exploded, turning into countless sound blades that spread out, cutting the trees and the ground into pieces. Rumble! Right at that moment, the ground suddenly started to shake. As he was flying backward, Yi Chun looked over at the ghost head. The ghost head, who had already turned into a beast, stabbed both of his hands into the ground. He used all of his strength to lift up a 10-meter-big piece of dirt, attacking towards Yi Chun. My intelligence seems to have decreased. Under the pressure of the Jinchi, the dirt suddenly softened. Yi Chun quickly sank into the ground, avoiding the huge dirt. The dirt was shattered, and the ghost head, who had turned into a beast, went through it. He did not see Yi Chun anywhere. Here, the sword light shot out from under his feet, flashing once before disappearing. Oh, woo! The ghost head let out a scream that did not sound like a human. Deep sword marks appeared between his legs. Normally, if a human were to receive this kind of sword attack, they would be paralyzed for a short period of time. However, in his beast form, besides screaming, the first thing that came to his mind was to fight back. He bent his body and threw out a punch onto the ground. The ground within a 10-meter radius started to shake violently, looking like a huge wave. At the edge, Yi Chun jumped out with a pale face. His eyebrows were tightly knitted together. Although the ghost head had lost most of his human mind, he had become even more violent and fearless. His defense seemed to be no weaker than the body training martial art from before. That should not be a problem. The reaction and speed of the ghost head had increased tremendously, which made him even scarier than a beast at the same level. What kind of secret martial art is this? Looking at the ghost head, who had needle-like hair all over his body, a face that looked like a wolf's mouth, and sharp teeth, Yi Chun felt a headache. In order to increase his attacking power, he had turned himself into something that was neither a human nor a ghost. The ghost head looked at Yi Chun from afar. His beast eyes were full of cruelty and killing intent. He had bought the beast transformation secret martial art from the trading palace in the martial city. Different from the other martial arts, the beast transformation secret martial art could only be performed with the spirit blood of a beast. Normally, you would not use this martial art unless it was a life or death situation, because once he used it, his beast body would automatically release his Jinchi. Before, Yi Chun had been wounded by the Jinchi that had leaked out. Besides that, after the beast transformation, although the warrior's cultivation would still be the same, his Jinchi would need to be accumulated slowly. Without the fire dragon fruit and other natural treasures, he might not be able to recover even after a year and a half. That was the real reason why he did not dare to use it easily. Roar! A loud roar was heard as the ghost head's legs bounced and jumped towards Yi Chun. His huge claws were shining with a cold light in the night. Void-shattering finger. Hit! Pointing out his right index finger in the air, Yi Chun held his sword with his left hand and attacked. Under the powerful void-shattering finger power, the ghost head's beast body stopped in midair. Then, a beam of sword light pierced towards his forehead. Crack! The ghost head's head reached up a little bit. He opened his huge mouth full of sharp teeth and bit onto the Starscar sword. His body tilted, and a slim black shadow suddenly shot out, wrapping around Yi Chun's body. Tail! Wrapping around Yi Chun was a long and thin tail full of fur. It looked a bit like a snake, but without scales. Plus, it was very soft. The more Yi Chun struggled, the tighter the tail got. With his body wrapped up and his Starscar sword bitten, Yi Chun did not even think before he formed a fist with his right hand and punched heavily onto the ghost head's huge chin. Popping sounds continued to be heard. Blood leaked out from the corner of the ghost head's mouth, and one of his teeth had also been broken. A deep roar came from his throat as his two beast claws attacked towards Yi Chun from both sides. Without a choice, Yi Chun let go of his left hand that was holding the Starscar sword. He reached out both of his hands, blocking out the ghost head's beast claws. At the same time, he twisted his body. Waves of twisting power acted on his tail. As long as the tail loosened even a little bit, he would be able to escape. The series of movements between the two had all happened in midair. Soon, the ghost head landed on the ground first, while Yi-chun was wrapped up by the tail, both of his feet hanging in the air. Tornado broke in clouds. Using his feet as a sword, Yi-chun kicked his right foot up. His mysterious Zhun Qi simulated the sword Qi, twisting the Qi flow and creating a small tornado in the narrow space between the two. The tornado expanded rapidly, attacking both Yi-chun and the ghost head's bodies. Originally, the ghost head was just about to suppress Yi-chun, and his beast claws were about to break through Yi-chun's defense. But, under the attack of the tornado, his tail could not help but loosen, and his eyes could not see anything. Yi-chun could not see anything either. However, with his powerful soul power, his eyes could not see as clearly as his eyes. Enduring the cutting power of the tornado, his body shook, and he instantly escaped from the tail's control. Then, with a weird posture, he moved toward the tornado. After spinning for half a circle, he had completely merged into it. Without even looking, he reached out his palm and took out the Star Scar Sword from the ghost head's mouth. With the Star Scar Sword in his hand, Yi-chun used the spinning power of the tornado to perform his lone peak kill over and over again. Pooh! 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 At such a close distance, the ghost head could not even dodge. His body had been pierced through like a sieve by the sword edge. His body looked like a bucket with a lot of holes, and blood kept pouring out of the holes. The tornado was not made of sword Qi after all. Under the continuous attacks, the spinning power was getting weaker and weaker, and eventually disappeared. Yi-chun stood in midair as he threw out a sword attack like lightning, stabbing into the ghost head's forehead within a second. The tip of the sword came out from the back of his head. The needle-like hair disappeared, and the ghost head returned to his human body. The life in his eyes had disappeared completely. Who? Taking out the Star Scar Sword, Yi-chun's legs felt a bit weak. He looked down and saw that the clothes on his body were torn, revealing the low-rank light armor underneath. The low-rank light armor was not damaged at all. If it were not for it, that tornado would have wounded him badly, since it was created between the two of them. Of course, if it were not for that tornado, the result would have been unimaginable. The ghost head who had turned into a beast was even more horrifying than a beast. His speed and reflexes had reached a whole new level. If it was a frontal attack, the lone peak kill would not be able to lock onto him at all. Only like what happened before, where his opponent could not dodge at all, would it work. Puking out a mouthful of blood, Yi-chun wiped his lips. He forced a laugh. This battle could be the most dangerous one since he had arrived on this true spirit continent. If he was not careful, he would be killed by his opponent. Just like Murong Qinsheng had said, some of the peak-level clasping Yuan realm warriors who had no hope of reaching the astral reaching realm were very scary. Because of that, in order to increase their attacking power, they would do everything they could, even destroying their own image.